And we are here. Crush Your Bell
Woo!
podcast episode number 48 with my very extra special guest today. Extra special. Moelykit with his first time. Well, I guess second time, I guess. If you were here during the
Yeah,
pre-show, you got to see him early. But here you go. Face
yeah.
reveal. Mo,
Woohoo!
woo. And he looks glorious. There you go. Of course, I am Sir Venom IK. What's up, big guys? How y'all doing, man? My name is Sir Venom IK. You guys can hit me up on the Twitters at Sir_Venom_IK. You guys can also hit up Mo at moelykit. And over on his Twitch channel, I highly recommend you going over there. He's been in part of my channel for a long time and is now branched off into his own channel. We want to give him all the little boosts,
Boop.
all the little things that we possibly can to help him out because he's a good bro. Right there at twitch.tv/moelykit. So, Mo, what you been working on this week, big guy?
Same stuff, different week, my friend. Just streaming, pretty much every day, taking Sundays off, doing my little stupid YouTube stuff and just living, man. Just living the dream each and every day in each and every way.
What you been working on in the game?
I've been grinding up, the British heavy cruisers. I'm up to the Drake. And I reset the German cruiser line as well just to get the research points because of the third season with the double points. So I'm back up to the rune in that. So I'm basically tier 9 cruisers. And of course, I've been, last night I spent almost the whole night in co-op just grinding out the final directive so I can get the London. So I'm pretty close to the London. I just got to finish up one more directive and I'll handle that after the show.
Right on. Yeah, I know this last directive, I was looking at them. They're pretty intense. 60 or 50 torpedo hits, that'll take a while. But I was playing ranked, so I got them done pretty quick. And I had to really focus on the damage. I had to get like 180,000 damage. I got to focus on that one. Play a Smolensk or play a battleship or something like that all night long before I can get that. And then there's a bunch of credits that you have to get in one game, so it's like Missouri time for that one whenever I want to focus in on that. So this week for me has been mainly rank season. I'm up to like 80 games, and I still haven't hit rank 5 yet, so it's not a very good rank season for me. With it being arms race, CVs are ridiculous. I don't mind arms race. I like arms race. I just liked it better when it was tier 9 instead of fucking tier 10.
Right. I mean, I'm a 100% win rate in rank this season with my one game played. And I found the Smolensk to be quite successful for that one game.
Yeah.
Ended up with a 240-some thousand damage game with a bunch of medals and stuff. It was fun. It was interesting. Luckily, I didn't have a CV. I think I did have a CV in that game. But Smolensk can handle the CV okay.
It does.
And
right.
it is what it is. I think the biggest problem with doing the ranked with the arms race is even though that game mode's been in the game for quite a while, not everybody has played it, so they don't really understand it. And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems with the rank this season is there's so many players that have zero experience with arms race. When they launched it as a game mode, I played it a few times, so I have an understanding of what happens, like what it means, like what the timer means, that it's going to drop the little thing and you got to be in the ring at that time. You don't necessarily have to sit in that ring for a minute and a half and wait for the damn parachute. You need to get there when there's 15 seconds left, and snag that thing and get out. And I just don't think a lot of people really understand the arms race concept well enough as it pertains to putting it into a rank season. But it's different. It's fun. I'm going to rank some more. I just 100% win rate.
I know when they originally put out arms race, it was like a month-long thing, and they were doing other things at the same time that you couldn't get credit for by playing that arms race mode. So people just didn't play it. I'm a big proponent of games, especially World of Warships or tanks or anything like that. If you want to do something and you want to put something out there for people to do, if you reward it correctly, people will play it. You see that Rogue Wave event, man. Me and Fitz and a couple other guys just went fucking ham on that thing during the summertime, and we ground out everything in the first week, and then it was just we had everything that we needed done in the first week because we just hammered it as hard as we possibly could. As for Arms Race, it came out, it kind of went away. They brought it back into the Tier 9 rank season, which was a very good rank season for me. Although it was kind of a shorter season because at that point in time they changed it from the rank 23 to something else. But I ranked out in like 70 something games, man. It was stupid. The CVs in the ranked, especially me playing a DD, I just get hammered. I just get hammered by them quite a bit. So
yeah, I mean there is no real counterplay, and we've discussed that at length and many times. Where, like my big thing has always been, why can't they just put a cap on the amount of planes that the CVs can carry? At least then you feel like when you do shoot down 3 or 4 planes and take a big hit, you're like, well, that's 3 or 4 planes that jackass can never launch again.
yeah,
But that's not the case now. And I think they need to bring back the hangar capacity on these CVs. And I think it would really, I'm not going to say it would balance them completely, but it would add a layer of counterplay to the CVs, where if a CV is foolish enough to go after a strong, heavy AA boat, they are going to be punished for it in the late game because they're not going to have enough planes to do anything.
yeah. That's the biggest frustration when you yourself shoot down 20 plus planes, and at the end of the game they still have full squadrons. And then you look up, they've lost 70, 80 planes, and they still have fucking full squadrons. Sorry. My suggestion on that is to, do 175 planes at Tier 10, 150 at Tier 8, 125 at Tier 6, and then, who cares, 100 planes? At Tier 4, you're not going to get those shot down because there's no AA at Tier 4. So 100 planes, I think that's legit. I think that they have to do something with it to make it a little bit more balanced for the DDs. But, until Wargaming admits that there's a fucking problem with it, they won't change a goddamn thing. And we've all sat there and heard it, and it's just like an alcoholic, man. You can't get help unless you admit that you have a problem, and they don't think they have a problem. And therein lies the problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Guys, so we are hanging out with my man moelykit here at moelykit over on the Twitter, twitch.tv/moelykit. Go over there to his channel, send him a follow. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything that we're going to talk about today, we will do a Q&A session later on in the cast toward the end of the show, so I can copy pasta those over. So let's jump back into ranked real quick here. Some of the things that I have had success with. I've played the 52, moderate success, not as successful as I was with the 46. I've played the Kleber. Surprisingly enough, I played the Kleber to very massive success. With CVs being in the game, I've just kind of been real passive. And whenever I see an advantage, I'll go ahead and push it down their throat. And then yesterday, getting off the Kleber, I played the Shima and had moderate success with that. It was like 50% or something like that. But then I started playing the Summers, and I had a run of games that was like four in a row, and then we would lose 2, and then we would win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, and then toward the end of the show, I had another 3-game win in the Summers. And these were with CVs. I had a lot of CVs last night, or this morning, as it were, because it was 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Surprisingly enough, man, the Summers is a good fucking boat. Shitty AA, but my God, those guns hit like a truck. They remind me of the Japanese guns, Alpha, but they reload real slow. So it's like a 6-second reload on those, and that's pretty substantial.
Didn't I tell you not to talk about the Summers because of the Nustra Shimmy debacle?
we both got into that neutered shimmy, man. I unlocked the neutered shimmy when my coupon came up, and then like the very next couple of days or something like that, they released information saying the neutered shimmy was coming out of the steel and going into the
Yeah.
coal. And they're like, "Nope, hey, people bought it this week. Nope, fuck them." That's basically
Yeah,
what they told them, and that's fine. I mean, I don't care. I mean, what else am I going to do? Buy the fucking Stalingrad? I'm not going to play that motherfucker. I'll get it, but I won't play it. You know?
right. I mean, of course, buyer's remorse, not knowing that that was going to happen. Of course, I wish that they would, everybody who's purchased some of these boats that they're taking out, give me like 20% back or something. Give me something.
Yeah.
But because, I did, work hard to earn that steel, and I spent it for a ship that I thought that was the final price. And now you're just going to jerk it out and go, oh, well, in 6 months you can get it for coal, which is the resource that we dispense freely. That is pretty much, you can't not get coal playing this game.
Right.
So it's just like one of those things, come on, man, give me something for what I spent on that.
Right.
Even if most of the steel that I had was from grinding through the, the Christmas snowflakes and shit, I still had to play frickin' all those damn ships and co-op. That was work. I worked for that shit. Give me something for it. Give me 25% back. Give me something.
Yeah.
I understand they're not going to do 100% refund, but you could give me something to make me feel a little better about the situation.
Yeah, it's
Buy
a little
somebody
fucked up.
dinner.
I mean, they've done that to me twice now.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
well, not necessarily in that way, but I had busted my ass and ranked out 5 times in a row, or just 5 times period, and got my black, and then they immediately put it up for steel. So I was like, son of a bitch. Just way to rip my heart out of my chest. And I was real proud of the black, and you weren't going to see too many people playing the black, and I was going to be one of those guys. And it's like even with the flint in that location, I'd earned through the flint, and then bam, it's like, man, I didn't even get to play it all that much before. It wasn't that it was special. Now it's not. It's same thing with the neutered shimmy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I always looked at that as, the reward ships for playing ranked, the flint and whatnot, those were when you saw somebody in a flint, you knew that person earned it the hard way. And now if you see somebody in a flint, it could be, random any shitter. You don't know who it is.
Yeah.
You don't know that, usually back before they did them for steel, you saw one of those ships. You're like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about that guy because he knows what the hell he's doing because he's got that ship.
Now
and they just removed that. They removed that. And it's just sad. I would be more pissed from as a guy like you who has worked to rank out over and over again than somebody for like me. I've never ranked out. I've come really close and I get too ragey. I get too pissed and I can't take it. It just drives me nuts. And I feel like I have the skill to rank out. I just don't have the patience.
Yeah, I've always sat there and said since the first couple of ranked seasons I played, this game is not a test of skill. It's more of a test of patience. Ranked season is over your test of skill. Now there is skill involved, but it's more patience because how many games can you throw at the wall before you just get flat frustrated and you punch a hole in that wall,
Right.
That's it's kind of what it is. But for the rest of them, the cruisers saw a lot of Smolensks and a lot of Demonis, Salems, the Moskvas. I mean, we've seen everything. I still think that the Demonis, Salem, Moskva, and Stalingrad are probably your best bets just because you can go to an area, get that 12-kilometer radar off on something that people are going to go for, like a heal or a reload buff or anything, or any of the buffs, really. And as soon as that thing goes down, pop your radar and then just obliterate them. And especially early on in the game when we have the 4 that pop up on the outside and that one little dude that's somewhere in the middle. Some ding-dong likes to go out there, and I was guilty of that myself. As soon as that hits up, man, pop that radar, and you can probably take out a DD pretty early in the game. So I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of Bourgognes sitting at range, slinging HE. Broadsides, they would AP them. Thunderers have been pretty popular. Kremlin and GK have been very popular to moderate success. I was kind of surprised. I haven't seen too many Bourgognes other than the one that I played, and I know Fitz has been playing his Bourgogne as well.
Right.
I haven't seen too many of those. I haven't seen too many Montanas. I have seen some, but not too many. I've seen a lot of Yamatos, decent amount of Conquerors. But yeah, the Bourgogne is probably the one that I've seen the less, and the Republic. I think I've seen one Republic in a game. I was kind of surprised to not see those. I haven't seen.
Yeah, you would think the Republic would be an okay choice. I mean, with the pen it has, the speed, the secondaries. I mean, eh, it's there. It's just I don't think it's as tanky as they need it to be
I don't
for
even
the
think it's
play
that. I
style.
think it's just the fact that it only has 8 guns. It's just not enough
Yeah,
DPM for a lot of people. I won't play it in. I won't play it in rank, but that's just me, personal preferences. And surprisingly, we're talking about cruisers, things that I'm surprised I don't see more of. I've seen a few Minotaurs. I've only seen one Henry, and I was kind of surprised at that one Henry, but I guess the nerf just really pissed people off, so they just stopped playing it.
I think you'll always see Minotors because the Minotaur is just that one Swiss Army knife ship that as long as you can stay away from a big hit from a battleship, you can really do some work. And it's got a good heel and good speed and good torps and smoke, or maybe even radar if you've got the balls.
Yeah, I got fucked
I
over
think the
by.
Minotaur is just one of those ships that it's good in the right hands. It can perform in pretty much any situation.
Agreed. And as for
My personal.
CVs, I've seen too many CVs. Period. It doesn't matter which one they're playing; they're all too many. It's all too many. So there you go. That's my opinion on rank season so far. I haven't got up to rank 5. I haven't really hit it too hard. I think last night was the first time I actually really hit it real hard.
Right.
Playing it to a good 6 hours or so, and then I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. So I got done and I stopped and I played Soda Dungeon.
Soda Dungeon OP, please
Soda
nerf.
Dungeon OP. It's a good fucking game. I really enjoyed it.
I've never played it.
Hey, let's jump into some fucking news here, boys. Jump into some news. All right, so your French captain's coming into the armory in exchange for coal. That's the good one, the good one. What's his name? Philippe Abignel. I don't know, fucking
P.
no.
Hillipy a boy no?
Yeah, that guy. It's going to be in the armory in exchange for 175,000 coal. This guy's worth it. This guy's worth it if you want to put it on your DDs or even your battleships at some point. You can do that and your cruisers. I mean, it's good for pretty much good all around there. I
Or
don't
if
have
you just want to say P. Hillipy, because P. Hillipy is a fun thing to say.
yeah, P. Hillipy. There you go. Which one you got? I got P. Hillipy.
I got P. Hillipy a boy no.
There you go. What else is in the news? We'll talk about that here in a second. But Stack Up. That's they're partnering with World of Warships here to support the U.S. veterans and service members. Now this one's a little bit heavy, Mo, but I'm going to read through this just real quick. Some of these beautiful things here. It says every year more than 6,000 veterans in the United States commit suicide. Operation Lifeboat sets a goal to raise funds and awareness for 24/7 crisis intervention and peer-to-peer mental health support. Basically, what's going to happen here is there's some premium bundles starting Tuesday, March the 3rd, which is today, ending Tuesday, May the 5th. There are some premium packages that you can purchase for $12. $12. And in this premium package, you're going to get a series of 9 missions. And if you happen to finish 7 out of the 9 missions, your Wargaming will additionally give another $5 in donations for this. So your $12 automatically 100% of the proceeds go to this program. And if you finish 7 out of the 9, they will also donate another 5. And if you finish 9, they will donate 10. So donate additional $10 to the program as well. So if you guys are looking for that, it's open now. It's $12. You guys go in there. What do you get out of this premium bundles? Well, let me open it up and I'll show you. It's called Lifeline or Life Ring. There's two levels here, $29.20. You get a Tier 6 West Virginia. Hold on, let me open it up and see what else you get. You get a Tier 6 West Virginia. You get a port slot, the Stack Up flag, personal mission November Charlie. Personal missions take me home with a 10-point skill captain, Dusty Rhodes as a commander for that guy. And then once you finish it all, I believe you get the Mountain Mama skin, the red one that it came with originally.
Yeah, the Country Roads one.
Country
That's
Roads,
the one
yeah,
I
yeah.
bought. I
Yeah.
went at when you linked that to me. I went in there and I was like, "Hey, that was the camo that came with like the premium bundle of the West Virginia that I never got." And I was like, $12, and I get the camo and I can help these guys out. Fuck yeah!
Yep.
Sign me up. $12.
12
If
bucks.
you have the
It's
West
not bad.
Virginia and you bought it on the cheap, go ahead and pay your $12 and you get that cool West Virginia country camo on there that you don't have because you couldn't afford the whatever $100 premium Admiral suck a guy bundle, whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah.
You know.
The $12 bundle comes with the Country Road camo, the stack up flag, personal mission November Charlie, same one, and then a personal mission Sitka Romeo, with the reward of Theodore Chandler, a 10-point U.S. commander. Now these are just regular commanders; they don't have anything special to them. They're just a little bit different than somebody else. But you will get the West Virginia if you do purchase the $29 one. So if you guys are interested in that, go check out the forums. Or go check out the premium shop because I'm sure it's up there. So anyway, so there you go. So there you go. All right. So that's pretty much all the news. There wasn't much news left. I mean, I know
No,
I've done
it really
I've done some ship testing with the Yashima released. They gave that to us. The Yashima, the Aegir, the Odin, and I don't know, something else that I haven't played. Hold on, I got it right here. The Orkan, which is another premium boat that I haven't played yet, so I'm not really too interested in playing that one. But Yashima 510s, big old 510s on this thing, 20-inch fucking guns, 6 of those guns, and I'm miserable. I'm miserable, man. You guys, I've complained and complained and complained about how much I despise double gun turrets, and then they give us a big 20-inch gun double gun turret, man.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
With base range of 26 kilometers.
Oh, that's great. That
Yeah.
will just encourage them to sit back on the 10 line.
Yeah, but the Slava's
A
bad for the
line,
game,
or
though. Slava's bad for the game.
Yeah.
Okay. As for the Yashima overall gameplay, it was fine. I wasn't too thrilled. I wasn't too thrilled with it originally. Still, when it hits like a truck. Citadels on this thing are like 19,000, which is pretty substantial. I was watching some people just bow pin everybody, battleship wise. Now cruisers, to overmatch 50 millimeters, you have to have a 710 millimeter gun to overmatch bow ends. I did bounce 6 shells off of the armor of a fucking Conqueror, or a Thunderer. Shouldn't happen. I was not happy with that. And then he ended up putting his front 2 guns into me for 50,000, and then his back gun into me for another 10, and killed me. That was not, and that was from 3 or 4 kilometers. I wasn't pretty happy with that at all. So the armor scheme is relatively the same as a Yamato, so you will get cheeked on this thing, and it's really fat and slow.
Well, there you go. What up, G Spot? Got to say hi.
Yep.
What up, G Spot?
And so overall, my overall opinion on the Yashima is it's like a 5, man. It's going to come out. They said it was coming out for steel. So if you guys want this boat, a lot of people are going to like it. A lot of people aren't going to like it. Me personally, I probably won't like it, even though that I'll probably end up getting it anyway eventually. It's one of those boats that's going to go on the trash list of boats. It's going to go on the trash list of boats. If you guys want me to play it or want to see that, man, we'll have to.
Yeah, I'm not a sit in the back kind of guy, and that's probably what's plagued me throughout my warships career, I guess you could say, or the time I played the game, is I can't just sit there and wait. That patience and composed gameplay is incredible for your PR. It's incredible for winning games and having a good win rate. But for me, I want to have some fun. I want to do some stupid shit. I love when I, YOLO in and end up taking 2 ships out and ramming a 3rd, doing something crazy. Sometimes you YOLO in and you get freaking wasted by some DD you never knew was there, and you look like an idiot. But to me, it's more fun of a game experience than these Yamatos and these guys, the Conquerors. God, I hate the Conqueror. Just sitting in the back, spamming bullshit like it's easy mode. Like
It's boring, is what it is to me,
oh,
and
I
I don't
can't
like doing
stand
it
it.
either. I get pretty aggressive, and I'm a pretty aggressive player, but I can be passive if I have to, and I hate it, man. I literally sat in a game last night during rank season, in my summers, sitting behind this fucking island waiting for the fucking cap to pop up. And because there was a CV in the game, I couldn't really go and do anything. So I literally just sat there for a good 5 minutes waiting for this dude to show up. And he showed up. I got him killed. And then the game was over for me. I was like, man, this is the most
Yeah.
boring fucking game I've ever played. And, this is ranked and this is arms race. And there was nothing left for me to do because there was a CV out there. If I go out there, then I get, I've got like 5,000 fucking hit points left. And I'm slowly letting that shit tick up and heal. And I'm just sitting there waiting. And it was awful, man. The CVs just slow the fucking game down.
Yes, they do. They really do. They slow it down like it's like again, we get back to that whole counterplay thing where, if you're a DD and you get a frickin' CV that decides they want to be up your butt the whole game, your game's ruined. Your game's ruined. And there's no skill involved. There's no way you can play that DD. There's no way you can dodge, dive,
Everything.
duck, and dodge. You can't do anything. You're screwed. Your whole game's ruined.
Yeah.
And it's
I know
fun
when
when you play them, but it's terrible to play against.
I don't even find them fun to play. I
I
find
kind
them.
of think they're kind of fun.
I know. You've been dropping that Arc Royal quite a bit lately.
I carried in a game the other night. Don't let DWO tell you any differently. I completely carried that game. If it weren't for my CV play, we would not have won that game.
That's funny, man. Man, I don't know, man. I just can't force myself to play them. I mean, it's there's some things here you want fun and engaging. CVs are just not fun or engaging at all. There's literally nothing to do but figure out who you can drop on. That's it. You're basically farming damage the entire fucking game. Now, it used to be a little bit more engaging because you had to counter the CV. You could strafe their planes. You could literally try to shut down that guy, and that was a legit way to play. Nowadays, there is no skill gap between CVs, the good CV player and the bad CV player. The skill gap that a lot of people talk about is their damage. How much damage is this guy going to get versus how much damage is that guy going to get? But when it comes to CV versus CV, there is no counterplay except for that little fighter, and that's it. And I'm sorry, but that little fighter sucks.
He does. If you want fun and engaging, you go to a strip club with a roll of dollar bills. You don't play that shit.
Yeah.
That's fun and engaging.
Yeah.
Flash a little cash, they will engage you.
That's
and
right.
It will be fun.
One person at your table takes the big, really tall stripper to the fucking champagne room, and then everybody's going to show up at your table.
Oh God! You remember your first time ever going to a titty bar?
I think my first time ever going to one was after I was in the service. There's not any titty bars around my area. We're right in the middle of the damn Bible Belt.
When I lived in Alabama, when we turned 18, there was a strip club right across the border in Tennessee called the world famous Booby Bungalow.
Bungalow.
I'm not making that up. And all of us went there with our freaking allowance or part-time job money, wasted every dollar we had on the first stripper, and then sat there for the rest of the night drooling.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the first one I went to was called Lookers.
Oh, yeah?
Lookers was in Pensacola, Florida. And it was dollar lap dances every night. So we're sitting there with $1. Here you go, lady. Rub on it. Okay, good. See ya. There's a song for 3 minutes. Here's $1.
Hell yeah.
And that was it. That was the first time I went. I haven't been to one in a long time. I'm trying to remember the last time I went to one, though.
I worked in one for a while, and it kind of ruined a lot of it. But, for the ego boost aspect of the situation there, they have a place. If you feel like you can't attract a woman and you're just not having a good time with the dating world, go to a strip club. You will be number one on a lot of girls' lists, and it just makes you feel good. Don't have to spend a dime.
There you go.
You'll end up spending several dollars.
All right. 99 pretty ladies and an ugly one. That's pretty funny. All right, so
The
let's
ugly
open
one will
up
do
this.
the good stuff, though.
Let's get the half-ass take here on the armor plating changes here. And I care about the IFHE.
It will be half-assed because I am not a numbers guy, and I read that thing, and it's just. So this is the thing from me reading the thing, and I didn't mean to cut you off if I did.
No, you didn't cut me off. This is the chart that we're looking at, guys. If y'all want to, want to see that, I can actually probably
look
pull
at that
over here. Give me a second. Go ahead, keep talking.
Yeah, and it says that basically your HE tier for tier, meaning tier 7 versus a tier 7, IFHE it's not going to do anything or whatever it's saying there. But the problem with the tier for tier or the tier and below is how often do you play this game where you're bottom tier?
Quite often.
So, okay, so if I'm a tier 6 and I'm in a tier 8 game and I'm one of 3 tier 6s in that game, my HE is completely worthless. Except for starting fires.
And good luck getting the fires because you're not getting the pins, most likely.
Yeah. So you have to take it.
I think
you still have to take it.
I think for some of the bigger guns, like 180s and shit like that, you probably won't need it. I don't know how many people use it on 180s right now as it is. We're talking like Donskoy, Kiev, Molotov, shit like that. I don't think I've ever used it on there. But what we're talking about is like 127s, 139s.
Yeah.
128s.
Guns that have a problem penning anyway.
Yeah. 100 millimeters. I mean, these
think
guns
about being any one of those little DDs with those 120s, and you basically can't do anything. But they say you can pen anything at your tier. Oh crap!
Well, we're talking cruisers. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
I think it's just straight up cruisers, though. I mean, I don't know if the DDs are going to be affected by this at all. I'm sure if I read up, I could probably figure that out, but I don't want to take the time to do it right now. But anyway, cruisers, except for the British light cruisers, the central part of their armor at tier 4 and 5 is 13 millimeters, up to 186 millimeters on the center part. The center part is now going to go to 16 millimeters, and up to is this the armor thickness before the changes, protection before the changes, armor thickness after the changes. So the central part is going to go up to 16 millimeters instead of 13 millimeters. And protection after changes, caliber of AP shells that can ricochet are 229 millimeters. So now you're bouncing shells at 229. What is 229? Well, that's less than 10 inches, right? So anything less than 229. So we're talking like 11 inches at the Scharnhorst will penetrate the bigger guns, the 305s, the 16-inch guns, the 15-inch guns. They're all pin the 14.5-inch guns. I'm not sure what the numbers is on the 13-inch guns, but they're bigger. They're bigger than the Scharnhorst guns. So those are all still pin normally. Those are all still pin normally. So no problem at tier 4. When we're talking tier 6 and 7. The cruisers with higher than 190 millimeter guns, we're talking 203s. I don't know what else is out there. 234s, I think some of them have 234s. Their center part at 16 millimeters. Center part is now going to 25 millimeters. So now we start getting into where I think is kind of bullshit, Mo. Where we're talking about 357 millimeters on the center part of the gun. You can now ricochet 357 millimeter guns,
which doesn't need to happen.
That's
just a big nerf to the battleships, even more than they've already had, right?
So we're talking 14-inch shells now. You're going to be able to bounce. So what are 14-inch shells? You're talking the Lion. The Lion at tier 7 is 13 and a half 14-inch guns. So you're going to start bouncing those shells, and everything's smaller.
When properly angled.
Not even that, but they're also putting it on the fucking flat broadside. So you're going to start bouncing shit on flat broadside.
Oh yeah, see that's just dumb because that's why battleships aren't even nearly as fun as they used to be. I remember when, if a cruiser of any tier showed broadside and a battleship got a shot off at the right time, that guy was gone or really hurt. And nowadays, you just overpen the shit out of them. Now you're going to overpen or bounce. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
That's
what we
amazing.
need. That's what we need. We need cruisers to survive more, but it gets even better, man. It gets even better than this. The cruisers at 149 to 190 millimeter, except for the British light cruisers, the deck armor is 25 millimeter currently. Right now, currently up to no wait, I'm sorry, that's tier 8. But anyway, 16 millimeter 229 is bouncing on the center deck currently. The deck's also going to 25 millimeters. So now the cruisers with 149 to 190 millimeter caliber guns will also get the 357 on the center deck, on the central deck. Cruisers like the Devonshire and the Surrey that have currently 19 millimeter armor plating that can bounce 272s currently on the sides will now have 25 millimeter, so they will also bounce the same 357s, which is 14-inch guns.
Yeah.
Now let's move up to where it's really important. Like tier 4 and 5 doesn't matter. Tier 5, 6, and 7, it starts to care a little bit because this is where you start seeing a majority of your gameplay because there's so many and it takes so long to get out of these boats. When we move up to tier 8 and 9, we're talking cruisers with higher than 190 millimeter guns. Center part is 25. It can still bounce currently 357, so 14-inch guns. Center part is now moving up to 27 millimeters, so that pushes you up to 386. 386. Hold on, I'll tell you what that's 15-inch guns. That's 15-inch guns. That's 380s. As if the 15-inch guns already aren't the worst fucking guns in the game as they are. Now they're going to be even less effective on any kind of angle. So we already know that when you're playing your Gneisenau, you're playing your Bismarck and Tirpitz or the Richelieu or the Alsace for that matter, the Roma. These things always all have a issue trying to pin these bow end targets, and now you're not even going to be able to do that anymore. You can't get the lull pins anymore. There is no overmatch for you now. So when they do go open up a little bit, these cruisers are going to start bouncing more and more shells. And I'm going to continue on, and I have a commentary about this toward the end of this, but I'm going to keep reading. Cruisers with 140 to one with less than 190. Down to 149s. The deck armor, 55 millimeters. We're talking Kudryasov now. All right, so the Kudryasov is now going to get that same deck armor at 27 millimeters. So now that deck armor is also going to bounce 15-inch guns. And we're talking Kudryasov. I mean, Kudryasov, Donskoy, anything that has a 180 millimeter, anything that has below that. As for the Cheshire, the Albemarle, and the Drake, the side armor's 25. It's going up to 27 now. It can also bounce 15-inch guns. So basically, you've rendered 15-inch guns useless at this tier. At tier 8, it's useless. And the majority of the battleships at tier 8 and tier 9 have 15-inch guns. Monarch has. And, it's stupid.
It's terrible. It's absolutely asinine.
As for the tier 10, the Colbert and the Smolensk, their center part is 30 millimeters right now. The armor thickness after the change is actually getting a nerf.
Okay.
It's actually getting a nerf, right? So currently right now at 30 millimeters, they're bouncing 429s. Currently with 30 millimeters of armor, they're bouncing 429s. Okay. That's 429 is bigger than 16 inches. Hold on. Let me do the math real quick. It's 16.8 inches. So almost 17-inch guns you're being able to bounce on the Colbert and the Smolensk. I'm sorry, but that's a little bit dumb. And now everybody's like, oh, this thing's OP. Well, it fucking bounces 17-inch guns.
I mean, basically what this boils down to is you can play the game like an idiot and not be punished for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's just going to bring the skill level down so far, especially with the cruiser community. Because I'm a cruiser main. I play cruisers more than I play anything else. They're my favorite thing. I love the high risk, high reward, and the things that the cruisers can do. I love them. And I learned for 3 years, I learned about trying to make sure I'm not exposing my broadside, paying attention to the mini map. Who am I opening up to? Who am I not? Who could shoot me? Who couldn't? So on and so forth, to where now I'm not going to get deleted except for if I get like spotted at the beginning of a game and some freaking jackass in the Kerfers at 20 kilometers or a Yamato just snaps off a lucky shot.
Right.
So, but with this change, cruiser players aren't going to get punished for making those mistakes on opening up to these big guns.
Right.
And it means basically you've got big guns that are just going to make a lot of noise. And that just doesn't make sense. Now, I understand World of Warships isn't a historically accurate, it's an arcade game. It's a shooter. It's fun. Like, you don't have to get real bent out of shape over these kind of things. But I mean, come on. Don't reward poor play, because we deal with enough poor play in World of Warships as is, especially those of us that have put in the time to devote the time it takes to get, like, I've got almost 20,000 games played. You know what I mean? I've played the shit out of this game.
Yeah.
And I took my beatings. I learned what to do and what not to do, what I could get away with and what I couldn't. Now you're going to have these guys that are going to shoot up to the high tier, and they're going to play like idiots, and they're not going to get punished for it.
And
they're going to think they did good.
Like,
don't like it.
Anyway, so the center part on the Colbert and the Smolensk are going to 16 millimeters. So now up to 229 should be able to pin that. So that's actually a nerf. A nerf to those two particular boats. The only part that this isn't a nerf for is when you lower this, now you're going to overpin a lot more. I mean, we already overpinned we already overpin like a motherfucker anyway on these things. So we're going to overpin even more. Now, two more boats here that they have deemed necessary to put on here is the Salem and the Demonis. Currently, their center part is 27 millimeters, and so right now it's bouncing up to 386s, so it's bouncing 15-inch guns plus. Now we're putting that up to 30 millimeters, so now we're bouncing 17-inch guns again. So here's my commentary on this whole situation. My issue is this: when we're sitting there and we're trying to play a battleship, and we're trying to learn how to play a battleship. I need to be able to put this guy down to get that feedback. Yes, I'm playing this correctly, right? I need to be able to pop this dude in the Citadel. Well, if he goes broadside currently, and I hit this really nasty fucking good dispersion shot, and I hit right on the fucking waterline, and I overpin all the way through the boat. Well, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Why am I doing what? Where can I go? So what do? You aim up just a little bit higher, just so you don't hit the water line, and then now you're going to start bouncing because your dispersion is going to be off. You're going to hit these flat broadside targets, and you're going to bounce shells. You have essentially rendered battleships firing normally to this really small square on the side of this fucking boat. Mm-hmm. And good luck hitting that, because battleships in this game have the worst dispersion of every class. My question to Wargaming was this. I was like, okay, so why are we buffing these cruisers so they can survive more? And is this going to fix the overpin problem that we are having currently as a battleship player, to where you hit 7-8 shots on the broadside of a guy from 10 kilometers, and all you do is overpin them at 10 kilometers? Is this going to fix some of that? Well, they're flippant. It was a very flippant answer, and it kind of pissed me off. What their answer was like, well, here's how the armor mechanics work. They gave me that how do armor mechanics work video. That's what they fucking sent me. I was like, motherfucker, you didn't even answer my question. It kind of pissed me off.
That's funny as shit. That's funny as shit.
Yeah, it kind of pissed me off with that answer. And I asked him. I said, all right, so what are y'all hoping to gain by this? Well, I mean, why was this a thing? Why is this even in your guys' video, or even in your guys' area of thing that we needed to change? Well, we want cruisers to be able to survive more when they angle properly. I was like, okay, well, I mean, I can respect that, but why? Why do cruisers need to fucking survive any more than they already do? Cruisers are already the strongest thing at tier 10. Now, I don't give two shits about fucking tier 4. I don't really care about tier 4, tier 3, tier 2. I don't give a shit. Nobody plays that shit. And if you are playing that shit, it's a very rarity. I spend most of my shit above tier 6 anymore because that's where all the missions are. You're not going to go out there and play a tier 4 fucking mission unless it's very early in that directive. That's it. There's no reason to play them. So why do cruisers, why have you guys essentially taken the balls out of 15-inch guns? You've taken the balls out of 16-inch guns. And then when you poll the rest of the community contributors or some of the community contributors or some of the community, well, we got the battleships need to learn how to make a fucking shot. No, you need to learn how to not get shot at. It's why
that's not it. Yeah. Sorry, that's not it at all. And that's the thing. That's you take all the punch out of these big guns, and you wonder why you get pissed off when your battleships won't push. Well, why should I push when I'm just going to overpen this guy for 2 salvos and watch him drive into my ship and fucking torp me?
No, torp me or just burn me down or
what's the point?
And then it's those same people that think boats like the Slava, which is very accurate at range, a very tight dispersion at range, that it's a bad thing for the fucking game. Why? What incentive does a battleship have to push in right now? Absolutely zero. Now, with these IFHE changes that are coming in, and my understanding of these IFHE changes is that anything at its tier you should be able to pin without IFHE. Period. That's basically what it is. Also, they are nerfing half of the fire chance off of that, which is good because fire chance is out of control right now. So I am excited for that. What I am not excited for is the goddamn armor changes, man. The armor changes I think are miss the mark, and I think they're a little bit what's the word here? They miss the mark and they're a little bit God damn it, what's the fucking word here? It's in number one. It's in bad fucking taste, and basically, you know what? I typed it all out. I typed this shit out here the other day as a comment. So I figured out what wargaming has done with the game. People have complained so much that it's hard for them to play, so they dumb the game down to where skill matters very little. Massachusetts, Georgia, Ohio, very low skill player boats. CBs were hard, so they dumbed it down. Rework really didn't have to be smart. Have to have really, really great games anymore. Funniest thing is the people are eating it up, and it's mediocre boats with terrible dispersion, and they think that they're good. Can we stop catering to people who refuse to learn how to play the fucking game? That's my biggest deal. So this change is literally catering to those people who have refused to learn the game and are absolutely stupid about the game. Sail fucking broadside, get punished. And who are they doing? Who are they fucking over, man? They're not fucking over the new guy because the new guy doesn't know any better. They're fucking over the guys at tier 10 that like the me, the you, the people have played 14,000+ games, and they're fucking us over because now I have to manipulate what I'm going to do to facilitate this fucking moron in his goddamn cruiser. And I'm sorry, but why is it a good thing for cruisers to survive? We have legit gone away from the beautiful rock, paper, scissors thing. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone now, my friends. It's flat out gone. Battleships over cruisers over destroyers over battleships. That was the rock, paper, fucking scissors, lizard, Spock with fucking CVs and shit dropping in. They have turned their back on that battleships over cruisers point because this change right here, cruisers need to survive more. Have you ever fucking played a goddamn tier 10 game? Have you ever tried to fucking shoot at a goddamn Stalingrad or a Moskva?
Yep,
in anything? If you guys even know what the fuck you're doing anymore? It's just out of touch. These changes are fucking out of touch with what the game actually needs. Now I will say this with a caveat though. I say all that with one caveat, Mo. What else is down the pipe that we don't know?
That's true.
What else is down the pipe when we don't know? And these are all concerns. I'm not it's not the end of the fucking world. We'll adapt because we're decent players and we're smart about the game and we know how the flow goes. these are definitely concerns, though. I am very concerned that this changed. And you know something, Mo? I know you were in the chat one time when I talked about it, when they changed battleship fucking AP versus destroyers. How many times did I rant and rave that they were going to, the cruiser players were going to start bitching, so they're going to fucking change the way that the cruisers are going to work because battleship AP does too much damage to cruisers. Well, fuck you. Learn how to fucking dodge. Yeah, all the fucking CV players told all them other goddamn DD players, myself included, oh, just dodge. Just dodge. Why don't you fucking just dodge? You know, what's good for you, you piece of shit out there slinging, oh, just dodge. And when somebody says it to you, it's... I had this conversation with a dude the other day. I had this conversation. Well, it wasn't really a conversation. It was he said something, I said just dodge, and then he got pissed off at me. It was a fellow community contributor. I'm not going to call him out, but it was a fellow community contributor from a different region, and he was talking about cruisers, how they're getting shit on. Man, why did I? He showed a clip, and he said, why did this happen? Where did I get pinned at? And I was like, oh, that's easy, just dodge. Well, dude, leave your bullshit ass comments out of the fucking feedback channel. I was like, no. Well, I remember you in here, boom, and I went back months and clipped this. It's like when I was complaining about fucking DDs and how the DDs are interacting with carriers, you told me just dodge. You yourself told me to just dodge. Now when it comes back to you, you're getting mad at it. You're a piece of shit. I fucking hate people like that, dude. Oh, well, if it benefits me, if it's something that has nothing to do with me, fuck them. But if it benefits me, then you're a piece of shit for bringing up just dodge. Yeah, that's fuck you. That's what I say to that guy. Fuck you.
Just dodge.
So, but either way, what are you guys' opinion out there in the chat, boys? We'll go with Q&A session here a little bit later on at ServantOnMyK right there at moelykit. We'll address those comments from the chat here a little bit later on. So overall, what do you think about this overall last minute comments before we move on to something else?
Well, like I said, you basically said it all, and I said what I had to say. It's just I don't like people being rewarded for being stupid, and that's what it seems like it is. It's making the game easy for people who don't want to learn the game and the mechanics and how to angle and how to dodge properly and how to pay attention to the God-blessed mini-map. Like, how hard is it to frickin' just look at the damn mini-map and go, wow, there's 3 gigantic battleships in that corner. Maybe I shouldn't sail broadside to that corner. How hard is that? But now it's like, well, they're just going to overpen me anyway. It doesn't even matter. So it takes like the whole strategy aspect that's fun in this game, the whole outplaying somebody, which is one of the best parts of this game, is when you straight up outplay another random player. It takes that out of the mix because that guy can always say, oh, well, I just overpenned you. And if I didn't overpen you, you'd have killed me. Yeah.
I mean, we could go on, and we probably will. I mean, I know this is a topic that comes up on my channel, on your channel, twitch.tv/moelykit, or over at moelykit over on the Twitter, at sir_venom_IK over on the Twitter. It comes up a lot. I mean, it's a question, and I know you're just now getting into your stride here as a streamer. And you're gonna see those questions. People will come in and ask you questions. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I literally just tell them honestly what I think about it. I think it's bullshit. And here's a tinfoil hat theory for you, Mo. And the reason why shit like this is happening. Have you noticed over the last 6 months they have just pounded, just new premium. Here's another line. Here's another line. Here's another line.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm all for content. But it seems to me, now this is tinfoil hat theory, guys. This has no bearing. I don't know anything that you guys don't know, but this is just an assumption here. I want to say that Wargaming is pumping out as much content as fucking possible.
Right.
To show that the game is profitable. And it wouldn't be surprised within a year or 2 years that somebody buys this company away from them. That they sell the company, I don't know. I mean, you see it a lot with some of the other things, with some of the other games in the other gaming industries. They come up. I mean, there's not a specific example here, but EA buys a lot of different companies. You look at BioWare, or you look at. I don't really have any specific example, but I have seen companies out there do very well with a video game. And
I know of an example where, I used to play EverQuest. Like, I always bring that up. And EverQuest was run by Sony Online Entertainment forever. And then as the population dwindled, but the game still had profit-making ability, they sold it to Daybreak, which is a Russian company. So now Daybreak runs it and keeps putting out they put out one patch a year. Whatnot. I haven't played it in a couple years, but they just pick up this. It's almost like these other companies will just pick up this quote unquote dying game. And maybe that's what they're doing, is trying to show all this, so that if the game does die in the next 5 years, they have something to show somebody that might want to buy it off of them. But I don't know. I don't know that, because I don't know has Wargaming ever sold off another?
I don't think so. Like, if my understanding of things,
yes, Evercrack.
Wargaming has proprietary things: World of Tanks, World of Warships, World of Blitz, World of Warships, Blitz, all their little World of games.
Yeah.
They're also a not developer for it, distributor for some other games. Like Pagan Online is from a completely different company, but it's distributed by Wargaming across their platform.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it works. But and I don't think they've ever sold off any of their old stuff. Now they've canceled some things. I remember they canceled what was it? Total War.
Total War.
They had basically a World of Warships version of Total War.
Yeah.
Right. They had that going on, and that did not do well during the betas. And it was good, and they were balancing it out, but it was a different company. Another company was doing it, and it was trying to be distributed by Wargaming, and they pulled the plug on that. So who knows, man? They bought some IPs. They've done it. I wouldn't put it past them. It just seems to me like they're pushing all this shit out there very, very quickly. Because they spent so much time on the fucking CV rework, they have this backlog of shit, and they're trying to just get it out, and so they can clean their slate and work on the new shit. Because they are now, this is all the intermediary stuff before fucking submarines come out, which is a whole nother ball of fucking wax when those come out. And the interaction with everything is going to change completely again, which is fine. I mean, you have to innovate gameplay, or the gameplay gets fucking stale. But even though we've had just these little bitty minute upgrades or minute changes, I still played the game. And CV rework is a big major milestone in the history. And now we're a year gone from that. And then I think that the one where I see where the game started slipping is the British battleships is where the entire game started to go a little bit awry. We were up and up and up and up and up, and then British battleships came out, and I start seeing this weird. My opinion of this game takes this weird fucking jagged line, because I didn't stop playing this game until those British battleships came out. And then I took a month off to go play fucking Star Trek Online, and then come back, and then the CV rework comes out, and I played that for a good 3 or 4 months. Get used to it. Before I had a really good opinion about it, and I'm still. These are all just concerns, because we still have to play all these things. The CV changes, or we had to play that before we could make an educated opinion. The cruiser armor changes. We still have to play that before we can see if it actually makes a fucking difference or not. Submarines, we still have to see that. I still have a shitload of concerns about submarines. I don't know, man.
Yeah, don't get you started on submarines. Me either. Because as long as they stay in their own game mode for a while, as long as they got it right before they bring them into the actual game and figure out, they either need to expand the size of the game or something, or expand the size of the teams. I don't know, or limit the amount of
I think that's a
ships.
good point. I think that's a good point when you're talking about subs, expanding the team sizes, because generally Battleship players will always play battleships. Cruiser players will always play cruisers. Destroyer players are the most flippy floppy people that I've ever met.
Right.
I'm one of those guys. I play a little bit of everything, but when it comes to ranked season, I play mainly DDs. And every once in a while, I'll throw in the odd cruiser or throw in the odd battleship. But I'm the most flippity floppity guy when it comes to randoms. You know, I mean, like Mo, I've sat there and watched you on your streams play nothing but cruisers.
Yes.
The entire fucking time. I've watched people like Static the Warmonger play nothing but battleships his entire fucking time. So here's my take on what's going to happen when submarines come out, Mo. And tell me what you think about this. Mo does have great hair. I just wish I had some here. Fuck. He's got all the he's got all the what I lost, right?
I got extra. I could send you some. You want a lock?
Yeah, there you go. So here's my take on this shit. You as a cruiser player, you will dabble in submarines, but you will always remain a cruiser player, and you will go back. Yeah. You'll go back once the fucking novelty of fucking submarines wear off. You'll go back and you'll play mainly cruisers. Battleship guys are the same. Destroyer guys, the destroyer main guys right now, they're going to dip into that, and they're going to be like, okay, well, we have to do something else because we're getting shit on by literally everything right now except for battleships. Unless you want to talk secondaries, but that's a whole nother ball of wax in itself. Those guys are probably going to be the ones that play the majority of this of the submarines.
Well, you know, another part of this, if you want to play conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tinfoil hat.
So the CV rework has definitely affected the amount of destroyers in game. True, because
I would
used
think
to
so.
see six DD games, 4 DDs, 5D, almost every game. Now you're seeing lots of 1, 2.
I've seen several zeros.
DDs.
I've seen a lot of games out there more since in the last year with 0 DD games. I have seen that all in the previous 4 years that I played the game.
So the CV rework came out to punish DDs to the point where they don't want to play DDs anymore, so they have room to put submarines in.
I mean, hey, that's very possible. I like that theory. I mean, that's a pretty good fucking theory. But you know, the DD interaction with carriers is fine according to them.
Just dodge.
Have you read that statement?
What's that?
Let me see if I have this statement still here printed out. All right, so this is a statement from a wargaming dev in a non-NDA channel in the community contributor Discord. So I can repeat this, and I've asked the last for the last month, I've asked community contributors and whoever else was on the podcast to listen to this and give me your opinion. So check this out. It says, on the whole, we think the interaction between CVs and DDs is okay. First of all, the CV rework decreased the skill gap. Decrease the gap between skilled and unskilled CV players. Inexperienced DD players die quickly in battles even without a CV because they just cannot get used to that class's gameplay features. So in the nearest future, we are not planning any major changes in that direction.
Yeah, that comment really, grinds my gears with the whole newer players can't figure it out anyway. How can they figure it out?
Let me take one step back there real quick.
Okay.
And say that first bit again. Say that first bit again.
Oh, you want me to say that how can new players figure it out with being constantly berated by CVs?
No, before that.
I don't remember what I said.
All right.
I smoked a lot of weed in the 60s.
Inexperienced DD players die quickly in battle without carriers because they cannot get used to the class's gameplay feature. Then why the fuck did you change carriers to begin with? Because they couldn't figure out how to fucking play it, so let's change it for them. Continue. Sorry.
No, I just saying, as we've all discussed 100 million times, the state of the game for a new player is pretty horrific once you hit tier 4.
Tier 3 with the carriers, yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But tier 4, you're going to see them almost every game. That's why I'm saying. But once you hit tier 3, 4, and then you're a new player, you're getting your training wheels on, you're trying to figure out the game, you got your Phoenix, your whatever, and you're out there, you're Clemson, just trying to figure shit out, and you have 2 CV games, 3 CV games. and you are constantly spotted, constantly hounded. How can you even figure out how to play a destroyer the proper way when you can't live long enough? You can't figure out what the strategies are, how to move into a cap, because you're just constantly spotted and dropped, or you're sitting in smoke. And then you wonder when you play, like, say, a tier 7 game or something, and you see a tier 6 guy in a DD and they immediately go off to the border, or they immediately turn around and go behind the team, and you're like, what's this idiot doing? He probably learned the game since the CV rework.
Yep.
All he knows is to avoid planes at all costs. That's why he's not capping. That's why he's going the long way around. That's why he's CV sniping. That's why he's doing that stupid stuff, because CVs have conditioned him to say, my best way to play this ship is to never get spotted by a plane, and I can only do that if I'm behind all the other shit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't. It's just that it's that kind of flippant remark that you get all the time. It's just like, okay, well, we're going to do this. You just have to accept it. And we saw it. I mean, we've been sitting here for a year now, railing at wargaming that these are doing too much damage to destroyers. Period. They're just flat out doing too much damage to destroyers. You ready for a 10-full hat on this one?
Go ahead.
What's the biggest problem for DDs versus carriers? Rocket planes, right?
Sure.
You ready to have cruisers bitch and moan at this too?
Sure.
AP rocket planes with the new CVs. What do you think?
AP rocket?
AP rockets. That's my 10-full hat theory. No, that's confirmed. I'm just trying to throw it out there. What do you guys think? AP rockets when the Essex and the fucking Independence and shit come back.
Wow, that would be something else.
They'll
I wouldn't
move.
be too happy with it. They seem to have put so much time and effort into these CVs that they're doing everything they can to turn us all into, if you can't beat them, join them society.
Well,
to try to get.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because they fucking spent goddamn money on it, and they want to make sure that it was a viable thing for them to do. So they are pushing it and shoving it down your throat. Here's rank season. Why would we have a fucking rank season that doesn't allow the thing that we just spent this much money on to play in?
Right. But it's terrible. I don't know. I think everybody said when the CVs first came out that they were rushed, and they were rushed. I think they were 100%.
They even said that on their own. They got rushed. I don't like the fact of carriers having so much control of the game where it slows the pace of the game down. It becomes a very boring game when like I just said earlier when I'm talking about rank season, there was a fucking CV in the game, and I literally sat in the same spot. Didn't shoot anything, didn't drop any. I dropped some peds, but that was about it. I literally sat in the same spot for 4.5 minutes waiting for this game to be done because there was nothing for me to do. If I peek out there with 5,000 hit points, I'm about to die. So I have to sit here. It was the most boring 5 fucking minutes that I have ever fucking had in a game. And that's because CVs don't allow you to do anything as a fucking destroyer. They literally shut you down 100%. And if you tried to go out there and do your fucking job of spotting and of capping and this and that you just get shit on by these fucking planes. So I think that CVs have way too much control over the game, just like everybody bitched about DDs having too much control over the fucking game. Well, that's their fucking job. And and then don't get me started when you're trying to play a DD, hunt that submarine down, and a fucking CV's in the game. Oh man. Talk about a fucking fiasco for fucking destroyers. And not only that, but the biggest point I wanted to make about those destroyer main players are going to stop playing destroyers and go play submarines. Now you're going to put that much responsibility to cap, to spot, to throw area of deniability torpedoes out there, to hunt down this submarine, to stay alive. You're going to put that on people who've never played fucking destroyer before.
Right.
And that's not fair to those guys. That's not fair to those guys when they're having to do all this shit. Well, I can't even get close to this guy because I'm getting radared from fucking 12 kilometers.
Right.
I can't get close to this shit. So now Wargaming wants to push this. We want the battles to be a little bit closer. Okay, fine. I've heard that statement several times from Sub Octavian, from a couple other people. We want to encourage a closer gameplay. All right?
Right.
Fine, fair enough. Well, then get rid of all the fucking overpins on cruisers. You know, they started here with these IFHE changes with the fire chance. That's a start, but we'll have to see how much lower the fire chance is actually going to be. I know it says 50%, but you know my RNG. What does that mean? I'm going to be on 15 fires instead of the 30
no, dude,
fires?
your fires, it'll have the reverse effect on you. You'll start fires every salvo.
Yeah, pretty much. I hope so, man.
Second coming.
So who knows? So who knows what's going to happen until we actually get it? But everything that they have done has pushed the game further and further away from each other. If you go back 3 years when they did the smoke change, or 2 years, however long they was when they did the smoke change. I always thought that, hey, you want to encourage a up close gameplay, then what you need to do is you need to take the mechanic that you have for cyclones and attach it to smoke. So that guy at 7.9 kilometers can see you, but that guy at 8.1 can't. That would encourage people to push in on these guys sitting in the fucking smoke. But no, they didn't do that. So what did they do? You're spotted at 7.5 kilometers. That motherfucker out there at fucking 15 can still fucking knock you off the board. I'm sorry, but that doesn't encourage me as a fucking battleship or a cruiser to come in at all.
No,
it doesn't.
At all.
Yeah.
You're gonna hide. That's what everybody does. To go off on a different tangent is all these island heavy maps, which gets me so freaking rage quitty all the time. Is, if you want people to play together, stop putting fucking mountains between us. Stop making it to where you're playing a game where both teams are on one side of a mountain and they're just waiting for the other guy to make a mistake and come around. Yeah. That's not fun. That's stupid. That's like.
That's why they changed north or northern lights, is because everybody just sat behind that island at B. Now, if you notice on that, since they did make that change on Northern Lights or North or whatever it is, that nobody ever plays the middle of the board anymore. Which is, I've made a killing and experience playing that middle of the board, getting that B cap.
Right. And like I said, just, I understand the strategy of having an island to disengage, to heal, to get out of there, whatnot. But the island shouldn't be used to just sit there. Like, I almost feel like, you should take a penalty for inactivity if you sit behind an island for 5 minutes and never take a shot, because you're just waiting for another guy to grow some balls and come around the island and you can blast them away. Yeah. It's not fun.
I spent some time on the EU server this week.
Yeah.
When I say I spent some time, it was like 5 games. 5 games. And it was the most passive fucking thing that I've ever seen, dude. You got tier 8 boats, French boats at that, sitting bow in.
Right.
And they moved 2 squares and then set bow in again. Moved 2 squares and set bow in. And like nobody had any idea what the fuck to do with it. It's like their strategies are like 18 months behind where we are. I mean, I remember that shit when the fucking British battleships came out, you couldn't do that shit anymore. And of course, I never really enjoyed that fucking sit and bow in play style anyway, even when I was playing my North Carolina back in the day. So I started learning how to fucking move. And
conservative play has its place.
No, I'm not knocking on it. I'm just saying it's very passive.
I give Tam shit all the time for being passive, but honestly, him being in the division is the perfect freaking counter to my overextension and aggressive play. Because I know that, I'm going to frickin' YOLO every now and again and get deleted, but we can count on Tam to keep himself healthy, keep himself alive. And when the game comes down to the end, he's there to frickin' win it for us. And he's done it millions of times.
Yeah.
Well, not millions, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But, the conservative play style has a place, and it's a very smart strategy. But it's the same reason why we can't have World of Warships like esports. When you watch competitive World of Warships,
You watch that King of the Sea. It's all the same, and it's
it's
boring
just
as
let's
shit.
sit behind an island and wait for one guy to make a move. Nope, they're down a ship. Oh, we got another ship down. Okay, now let's all push and kill them.
Yep.
It's the most. It's dumb to watch.
It's very repetitive. You see the same thing happen every fucking game.
Every
Somebody makes a
single
mistake,
game.
they get popped up, and then they push
Yep.
in. But until then, they're all sitting behind the islands. It's
They
the
just
most
sit and
boring
wait.
thing that I've ever tried to watch. Now, when I was doing commentating, I could make it interesting, but while I was doing that, I was like, man, this is a really boring game. Come on, team, do something. You know?
No, that's not the bathroom door. The bathroom door is over there.
So yeah, I totally understand that, man. The game is a very slow paced game. I was trying to describe this game to somebody last night, and I said, now I want you to understand that this is a very slow paced game for about the first 8 minutes of the game. You're probably not going to have much action. A couple of shots occur, a couple of shots there, and then there comes by really, really, really portions of high intense intensity. And then followed by another portion of slow while you position yourself to the next zone.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. So no, it's a boring game to watch, and unless you are invested in this game and you're playing this game, there's no reason for people to watch it.
No,
because there's
unless
nothing
you understand
enticing
the
about
strategy. No.
Yeah.
It is not, and you know, as a streamer, you know, that's why everything stays in the community, because I can't see any random person coming in and watching Warships very often just for the excitement of it. It's not an incredibly exciting game.
It has some. You can make it exciting for yourself. And
it's
that's
an FPS for mature adults.
So.
Sorry.
I don't know, but anyway, this game is not an esports caliber game.
No.
It will never be an esports caliber game, and I'll be honest with you, unless they get some very, very interesting and very good commentators, the game will go nowhere in any kind of esports. So it's going to take somebody who's a little bit different than what they have now to really promote in any kind of competition, King of the Sea or anything like that. Now all the people that they've done casting it, sorry guys, but they're just boring, man. You know, I'm not no disrespect to them, but they don't. It just doesn't seem like they have any kind of personality whatsoever. They're just this boat's here, that boat's there. You know what I mean?
Commentator.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
So either way, so there you go. So what's there to entice people to come in and play? There is none. So when people do take a dip and they're like, hey, what's this game? And they do go in and play it, they're getting railed on and shit on at Tier 4 by all the CVs, and people don't want to fucking play anymore. With that being said, they have announced, they have said that they are looking into the matchmaker for CVs at Tier 4. I know Me Josh has said a couple of times, and I agree with this, is it said 2 CV games should never exist, period. Make them fuckers wait, or they can play another class. They just, I don't know, how many times have you had double CV games at Tier 8 and Tier 10?
Not as frequently as lower tier, but it does happen a lot around the Tier 8s. And, you know, come on, with the matchmaker, how long has everybody who's invested in this community been screaming for +1 matchmaking? And how long has that been just thrown under the rug?
Well,
and that's really,
they did a thing, and this is a theory that I had. They did a thing that if we got so many people on the server, then everybody would get a certain amount of prizes, right? Some flags or some shit, right? And my theory was, is we hit a certain amount of number, then we had enough people on the server at peak time or at any given time to justify +1, -1 matchmaking. But since we don't have the fucking player base, +1, -1 matchmaking is not going to be a thing ever.
Yeah.
Since it might maybe on the EU server they have enough people to do +1, -1, but here on the US server, we don't have enough all-time players, peak time players to get +1, -1. Now they have done that staggered staging like they've done in the past. Okay, for the first for the first 3 minutes, you have a chance of getting only one CV, and after that third minute, then you're now in that capability of having a double CV. Well, that's not always entirely the case, because how many times have you insta-popped into a double CV game? Quite a bit. So it's a flawed system there as well, because that guy sits in the fucking queue for 5 fucking minutes, and I come out of a game and immediately go right back into it. Boom, I'm into a game because that motherfucker didn't stop his queue and turn around. And majority of the time, that guy that didn't stop his queue is fucking AFK for the whole game anyway. So
yeah, because he just turned it on and walked away and got busy watching, Matlock reruns.
So I don't think that there's any way that this game could go +1 minus. I'd like to see it +1 -1, but I don't think it's fine. I think it's fine the way it is. I mean, with as many games as I've seen double CV at tier 8 and tier 10, I literally just want to go back to port. I don't even want to play it. Right. I don't even want to play it, man.
The CVs are rough, but my thing is, we've all played a whole night where you're just bottom tier.
Yeah.
All night. And it's just, there's tier 8 to me is one of the most interesting tiers. It's got some of the most fun ships to play in this game. But when you queue up in your, North Carolina, my favorite boat of all time, it's no fun in tier 10s. Yeah, I can kind of hold my own. Yeah, what la-di-da-di-da. But it's like constantly bottom tier. And then if you want to go, oh, well, since the AA nerfs with the CVs, oh, well, my North Carolina used to be one of the most OP AA platforms in the game. It's nothing now. Anybody can drop it. I've had tier 6 Rangers get full frickin' loads off on me.
Yeah, that should never. I'm sorry, man, but the AA.
Never happen.
Well, we could dip into the AA conversation if you fucking want to. I think that they need to extend the ranges back out on AA, because some of these destroyers out there have 2.5 kilometer fucking AA. That's not enough to do anything. No, that's not enough time to do a fucking goddamn thing with AA. Oh, well, it's not designed for AA. Well, then it's a stupid fucking design. How are you going to release a boat post CV rework that has 6 fucking AA?
I know that's
I'm talking to you, Summers. How are you guys going to fucking release a goddamn boat after the CV rework and it has 6 fucking AA?
Nustra Shimmy has defensive fire, so smart steel purchase confirmed.
Whatever you can say to make yourself feel better about that purchase, right? Is that what that is?
That's right. That's right. Fucking best steel I ever spent.
Guys, we're hanging out with my man moelykit. You guys can find him over on his Twitter at moelykit, or on his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/moelykit, or on his YouTube channel, youtube.com/moelykit, all spelled the same.
That's right.
You guys can hit up his half-ass reviews and his daily boops, or his weekly boops, I guess now.
Well, it's more of like a bi-monthly or monthly or weekly or whenever the hell
whenever I can figure out time to go ahead and do it.
Spending 6 hours on a video.
Boop. Yep, there you go. Well. Guys, I'm Sir Venom IK. Thank you guys for watching the show so far. You guys can hit me up at Sir_Venom_IK for on the Twitter. If you guys are over on the YouTube channel and you guys are wanting to come have a live conversation with me, guys, come over at twitch.tv/Sir Venom IK. All right, let's move into our main topic here.
All right, man.
All right, so the rest of this conversation here that we're going to have about this is tinfoil hat theory. It's all conspiracy theory, all right? I love conspiracy. More like half a yearly boop.
I know, right? Shut up. It takes like a long time to make those.
Stealth nerfs. Now, this is something that was brought to my attention quite a long time ago. You remember a guy named Silly Putty?
Yeah, I remember Silly Putty.
Really good fucking player. Really good player. Really good dude. Taught me how to play DDs back in my first rank season. He came up with something. He's like, hey, Venom. I was like, what? He's like, watch. Missouri's really, really fucking good. I bet you in 2 or 3 months it's going to be shit. And everybody's going to be like, what the fuck happened to Missouri? I'll be goddamned if what, 2 or 3 months later, the Missouri's just not as good as it used to be. And now that could be a couple of reasons. It could have been power crept. Still pretty strong, and they could have stealth nerfed it. So stealth nerfs, guys. What do y'all think about stealth nerfs? Number one in the chat, what do you guys think about stealth nerfs? Do you think that they change things on boats without telling the motherfucker? And Mo, Let's get your take. What do you think about stealth nerfs?
I do 100%. And, since Tam's here, I'll talk about it because I give him shit for playing the Nelson because I hate the Nelson. But when the Nelson first came out, it seemed like it shot laser beams of death from its guns. And AP was just freaking hit hard, hit hard, hit hard, no matter what you aimed at. Great dispersion, great guns. It was fantastic. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't hit shit. I was overpenning everything. I couldn't get a good hit to save my life. And I find myself switching to HE with it, which I'm way against HE battleship shooting. I can't stand it. I'll shoot it when I've got a strong armored, battleship bowed onto me, but I'm AP all the way. And I don't know what happened to the Nelson. Maybe it's me, but I don't feel like anything major changed in my gameplay or the way that I aimed with the boat or the way I played with the boat. But it went from one of my favorite ships to a ship that honestly, it just sits in my port, just, be a collector to be there.
It's funny you say that, man, because I have that same relationship with the Amagi. When I first started playing the Amagi, it was pretty decent. I was like, okay, I'm pretty comfortable with this. And then all of a sudden, every other game that I had, the dispersion was so fucked that I can't even want to play with it anymore. Like that and the Nagato, I just can't play them. I hate those boats. Anytime I get into those boats, I'm just like, nope, this thing is fucking trash. And I'll go play the Ashitaka. Somebody asked me to go play the Ashitaka, and I'm like, all right, I'll play it, whatever. And I generally have a decent game. But when I play the fucking Amagi, I can't get it to do anything. I can't get it to do what I need it to do. And I'm playing the boat how it's designed, sitting back and hitting these guys, and I'm like, how much of it is me? How much of it is my mistake, my error in aiming, and how much of it is just flat, pure bullshit RNG?
Which you have.
Which I have shown for the last 4 fucking years.
Back to the conspiracy theory, it's almost like when they launch a ship or they bring out a new premium, it's almost like the stats are boosted for a month. So everybody's like, man, this ship is fucking awesome. You got to get it.
Buy it.
And then after 6 weeks, they turn it down just a notch. And after everybody's bought it, because they think it's the greatest thing on, since sliced bread. But
well, I mean, that would fit their MO. Except for unless it's Russian, and then they're not going to nerf a fucking thing. It's too popular, so we're going to move it out of the shop. But no, man, I definitely think that has some merit. Now, I came up with a fucking conspiracy theory a while ago, and everybody said I was fucking stupid for it. And I think they used a little bit more offensive words. You're an idiot or fucking retarded.
Yeah.
I got called retarded because I came up with this theory. But I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this theory, and you guys give me what you think. So check it out. Do you think that there is a point in your win rate? Do you think that there's a point in your win rate that your game changes an RNG factor? Do you think that there is a point when I was at 50% or 40% when I first came up, where I would make shots, and once I got better, I would consistently make these shots and would consistently do a lot of this damage. Once I hit 55%, that chance kind of dropped off. I would still make it because, I'm not a terrible player anymore like I was back then. We're pretty fucking average. But then when I hit 60%, all of a sudden my RNG just went absolutely nuts. My fire chance has gone to shit. I'm getting set on fire all the fucking time. I'm hitting these shots and these boats that are typically that people tout on for like something in the Georgia. Like people tout on the Georgia for being, it's a fucking hell of an accurate boat for only 6 guns. And I consistently get the shots that come out that look like a goddamn number 4 pips on the fucking side of a dice. I consistently get that shit all the time.
You need to light a candle and get a prayer for your Georgia play or something, because I'm one of those people that think the Georgia's really good. And I played the Ohio a couple times now that I finally got it. I think it's pretty good. You have probably one of the worst RNG streaks in the history of mankind. and I don't understand why.
And it's not like I'm lying or I'm playing it up or anything.
No,
I had a game last night. I was like, guys, I'm going to play the small links. Watch me get like 1% fire chance here. I had 500
right,
hits, one fire, or like 5 fires. That was it. 1% fucking fire chance. And I have these games now. I do have some games. Don't get me wrong. It's not all bullshit. You remember the bullshit more than you remember the good things. But I have these games where I have my highest game ever was like 19 fires and a Kudersoff. That was it. 19 fires. I've never been past that. And I think if I'm playing a quote unquote fire starter cruiser, I generally do maybe 6 to 8 fires. That's about all I get per
right.
game. For a whopping anywhere between 1 and 12% fire chance. That's about all. That's about the max that I get. But I have had some really stupid fucking games where I'm shooting nothing but HE on open targets that have not been touched with fires yet. I fired the first shot into a GK last night in my Smolensk. Set him on fire. He repaired it.
Right.
He went behind the island, so I didn't shoot at him again. Comes back around the island. I actually repositioned, and he comes back around the island, and it took me 32 salvos before I set him on fire again. Nobody else is shooting this motherfucker. Nobody else is shooting this motherfucker. I went quite literally 200 shell hits on this guy in the superstructure, pinning very little broken shells to get my third fire on that game. Like 232 salvos out of a fucking Smolensk.
Dude,
So
I've watched you play. I mean, anybody who doubts it, just watch Venom. Because you'll see it every time he plays a ship.
Which I always love. I always love it when they put out, oh, this thing's a fucking firebug, man. This thing's a firebug. Well, why don't you just wait till I get it? I'll go fucking prove you wrong. This thing don't set fires for dick. Shit, man, I have 50 hits in a goddamn Conqueror HE, 15 inches. You know, the 12 guns, 12 gun Conqueror, with one fire. I mean, I have 50 fire hits, and I'm like, I'm shooting at the superstructure. I'm shooting at all the right places, and I can't get it done. Kleber, for example, I have I sit there and I play against Klebers, and they just light me up all the fucking time. I play a Kleber, two or 300 hits, and I get one fire, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? Yeah, and you know, this is troll. Shadow Figment has said that Venom is the only guy who could Thunderer for 2 fires. I've done that. I've done the Thunderer. I've done the Thunderer HE spam for 2 fires, and I'm like, I'm not stupid. I know where to fucking shoot. I mean,
he's the only one that can Georgia and bounce on a broadside cruiser, because he does. I've seen that too.
I mean, it's insane. And so I sitting there thinking, after I'm seeing all this shit, is there a special number out there that somewhere in my stats that I have hit that has triggered a fucking AI program to say fuck you?
Oh my God, it is terrible.
So that's my theory. That's my conspiracy theory, and that goes along with stealth nerfs. Do you think that they are undercutting the good players to keep them down?
Because I don't know, you know, I understand what you're saying, and you know, and honestly, there's that almost fits into the whole thing where, you know, you feel like, you know, you were doing so well in a particular ship for so long, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work for you. Well, maybe you just outgrew it with your win rate, and that's what they're doing. Is they're screwing the good players so that the newer players don't just get their butts kicked every game.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. Do I think that that's actually a thing? I think it would be. I think now, as this is obviously a very, very I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. This is obviously just opinions. And does this really fucking happen? I doubt it, because why would they screw over one player?
That's right.
Why would they screw over one player? But I'm interested to see if there's anybody else that has that theory as well for the way that they're playing their games. Was there a point in time that you can remember doing all of these really, really awesome things in this boat, and then all of a sudden, like you said with the Nelson, all of a sudden you can't get it to work anymore? When people
It
come
just
in
stopped
there,
working for me.
yeah, when people come in and they tell me that the Hood is a really good boat, I look at them and I laugh. I said, this boat is terrible. Look,
It
watch
is.
this
The Hood's
game.
crap. Who said Hood is good?
A
That guy
lot of
needs to get
people.
his head checked.
Stabber said it was good. He said it was good enough for me to play it
Okay.
for $5.
Well, I mean, the Hood got screwed because it used to have the cool gimmick of being the only battleship with defensive
With
fire
the
and it had those
rockets,
little
yeah.
rockets and shit. And it was just a monster in AA, and then they just freaking screwed off on the AA, and it's worthless now. It has no place.
Yep. So I think that they're in my own personal opinion, I think that there is something to it, and I think that they have done that. As for stealth nerfs, some of the other boats that you think that have been stealth nerfed, for me, everything's been stealth nerfed because I can't get a goddamn fire in anything. I can't set fires in the Smolensk. I can't set fires in the Colbert. Now, the Colbert's a little bit different story because why? Well, because it's got smaller shells than the Smolensk does. But that doesn't make any sense because it's the same 127s that are on the Atlanta and the Flint, and I have some really good games in that. And I still think the Flint the Atlanta is my favorite boat in the game because it's a very skillful ship. It's probably one of the most skillful ships that I've ever played.
I'll concede your theory, and it is a theory. It's something to think about. But aside from that, like I have always felt like they just tune down boats that are overperforming and don't say anything about it. They just do little tweaks, not a lot, not enough to make you go, oh, this boat's just been completely ruined, but just enough to make you go, God, what happened to this thing? Like
the Missouri. When the Missouri came out, it was touted as one of the most accurate battleships at the game, and it's not anymore. And they actually had fucked up the numbers on the aiming mod to where it was actually worse dispersion if you had the aiming mod on than if you didn't have it on. It was actually worse dispersion. And it took them 6 fucking months to be able to figure that out and put it and fix it. Now, my theory is I don't really think that they fixed it at all. I honestly don't think that they fixed it, period, because I still don't see that same deal. So what Silly Putty was saying was they will do these things. This boat will perform very, very good for you for the first 2 months that it's out there. And then they'll do a patch, and then it won't perform as well.
Right.
Scharnhorst came out, fucking performed masterfully. It's still a fucking badass boat. And then all of a sudden, there was this patch a couple of months later, and I started not liking the boat anymore because it just wouldn't do. And now, how much of that was players understanding how to play against it, or me, my aiming? I don't know, but it definitely doesn't perform well at all anymore. Now I know that Scharnhorst is fucking fantastic. No, I'm sorry, fuck you. Those guns are too goddamn small to be effective anymore.
Yeah, it's not fantastic. It's a fun boat to play, and it's viable at its tier. It can't be up tiered very well. I play it fully secondary spec just to troll because it actually works out really well when you get up close.
Yeah,
but,
it's great. It's a good push boat.
Yeah, it's because it's got that turtle back. So if you push in, and then it's like all of a sudden somebody's like, "What the hell is eating me up?" And hey, that's my secondary spec Scharnhorst, bitch. That's what's fucking you up.
Yeah.
But again, that's one of those boats that just you can't get up tiered in it because the caliber's too small and it loses its role. When you play Scharnhorst, you take a battleship off the team. That's a battleship. That's considered a battleship in the game. But it can't perform the role of a battleship if it's in a tier 9 game.
Well, this reminds me of what they're done with the Odin. The Odin is a 305 base battleship. I'm sorry, but I think 305s are fine for cruisers and super cruisers, but you can't put them on a battleship, man, because you just can't do your job. You have no punch versus other battleships. You are directly a cruiser counter, but 305s, and now with this new armor change, your 305s are just going to bounce. I honestly think, going back to my rant about the battleship AP versus destroyers, cruiser players have started bitching about how much damage the battleships have done. So they're basically removing AP. They're rendering AP almost useless, except for the
Well, they
very
did that when
perfect
they
shot.
brought out the British battleships. As soon as
Agreed.
they brought out the British battleships and gave them that huge fire chance, now all these battleships are HE shitters, and it just ruined everything, because not only do you have to put up a cruiser set you on fire, or little gunboat DDs pew-pewing you and setting you on fire, now you got these massive HE shells dropping on you from 20 kilometers away and breaking everything on your boat and setting you on fire. Granted, that's very effective, but it's not fun to play against.
It's not fun
And
at
it
all.
doesn't take a
To
lot of
be honest
skill.
with you, it's not
It
really that
doesn't
fun
take
to
a lot
do.
of skill.
No, it's very, very little skill.
So any idiot can go out there in the back with a Conqueror and just blast people away. When we were doing that stupid fire mission last night in co-op to get the directive done, and I played the Conqueror to finish it off, and it's like, God, this is why I don't like playing this boat. Yeah, it's awesome. I hit a bow on Cleveland with an HE salvo. You know, of course it's co-op, it's a bot. I did like 15K to him, knocked out half his shit, and set 2 fires.
What's your incentive to ever fire AP again?
Right,
And see, and so my little ranty theory has basically come true at this point with this new armor change.
Yeah.
It's basically come. They're quote unquote stealth nerfing this thing, and they're like, hey guys, we're gonna boost up the cruisers, but they don't mention how it's gonna interact with the fucking battleships. No. How they just kind of send that off into the deal, and when you try to approach them about it, they're like, oh, we want cruisers to survive. Why? Because they want to take away AP. Like, honestly, dude, the only skillful thing on a battleship anymore is where you put those AP shells. That's it. That's it. So, so what do you do? Where do you go? Anybody else out there think? Give me some other ships out there, if you can think of one, Mo, or maybe some of the chat can think of some that have happened with stealth nerfs. Leave them in the chat, and we'll talk about them here in a little bit. All right, Mo. Now comes to the portion of the show that we want to get to know you a little bit. Now, I should have done this a little bit earlier, but let's take a break and let's get to know Mr. Mo. Now, I sent you those 9 questions. I usually send those questions like weeks in advance, so you have time to think about it. But I sent it to you a couple hours. I apologize for that. That's on me. I literally thought I had already sent them to you. So, but anyway, so let's start out. Question number 1: 9 average questions. Are you ready, Mo?
I am ready.
All right, boys, here we go. How did you find World of Warships?
I found World of Warships from playing World of Tanks. I played World of Tanks for a while, had gotten up in tiers in there, and they had made some changes to the game. And it made you have to be a student of the game in order to be successful in World of Tanks. I got fed up with this caliber can only hit this tank in this spot and cause damage unless you buy the special gold ammo that I didn't have the money for and all this other crap. And, growing up, I had always wanted to be in the Navy. I really enjoyed the history of World War II Navy. And I found out they had made a warships game. And I got in probably well after closed beta. I think it was like March of 2016 or 15 that I got in the game. And, honestly, what got me really into it was when I found out that I could play the USS North Carolina.
Right.
I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina. I was in Navy ROTC in high school. I did like maneuvers and training on the North Carolina in ROTC. As a Boy Scout, I spent some time on there. I had a lot of time there. And it was just like, wow, that has a meaning to me. I really want to play the North Carolina. And that's what got me started. And I just fell in love with the game and kept playing it.
There you go, man. I've noticed that people there's a lot of people out there that were advocating for the Massachusetts before it came out. Massachusetts, New Jersey, you see it all the time with different boat. We want the Alaska. Fucking Fitz in his fucking Alaska push for the last 2 years before it came out. There's so many people want these different boats in the game because they have significant meaning for them. So I totally understand that, and I get that, man. I think it's good that you're actually able to get in there and do it. Now, at what point in time do we say no? We've got the same boat like 19 times in here,
right?
Let's
like
figure
my
out. Let's
87 Miyokos, like
yeah.
my 87 Miyokos in port.
Hell yeah! like them,
I'll
and
buy the next one too.
you goddamn right, and they're not bad either. And you got the Alabama and the fucking Massachusetts, and now you got the New Jersey. People want the New Jersey or the Wisconsin in there with the Iowa, and I'm like, man, come on, man, we already got the Iowa and Missouri. Do we really need a fucking New Jersey? Do we really
Right.
need it? The only way we need a Wisconsin or a New Jersey is if they split the U.S. battleship line. I'm sure that there's another North Carolina fucking ship that they can throw out. I don't know what was it, 4 North Carolinas, something like that,
Yeah,
or
I
6
think
North
so.
Carolinas, or something like that. They could pull one of those in there and make it a secondary, and it can be a different secondary than the Massachusetts, and then they can do the New Jersey or Wisconsin, and then I don't know, pull something out of their ass for Tier 10, Montana with secondaries, basically, whatever. But
Well, with the Massachusetts, North Carolina, and the Alabama, each of them at one point in time before the AA nerf had their place.
yeah,
The North Carolina was the monster AA platform. The Massachusetts had the monster secondaries. Then the
was
Alabama
a tank.
has that really nice torpedo belt. That was a little thing that set it off from the other ships of the line to where, that I like the Alabama. I've been starting to play it a little bit more, especially against CVs. Like if a CV drops you with torps in the Alabama, they do like 1,200 damage. They do nothing to you.
Yep.
So it's kind of fun. And if they can continue to give these ships some sort of a niche, I don't mind the duplicate class ships, but they gotta have something that makes them feel different.
Yep,
That's
I
my two
agree.
cents on
As long as they don't see right now with the way the AA is, they're all kind of about the same AA, and they just kind of all amalgamate into this one little. They're all the same boat basically, but definitely. What was your motivations to go from a player to starting to stream?
Honestly, losing my job. I got laid off from work, and I have this time on my hand. I'm currently on unemployment. Luckily, my bills are not so astronomical that I can't live well on unemployment for a little while. And as long as I'm sitting around playing this game every single night, why not share it with the world and see what happens?
There you go.
I'm streaming for a hobby. I don't expect to be rich or have it turn into my full-time job or anything. Of course, that would be awesome, but let's be realistic. And right now I'm just having fun and being myself and trying to, bring more boops into the world.
Yeah, watch out, man. My boots got me banned for 24 hours. All right.
Yeah, they did.
Question number 3 is being a player, or going from a player to a streamer. What do you hope to contribute to our community here, or World of Warships community, or the Twitch community, all in of itself?
Well, I mean, I think you can watch. There's several World of Warship streamers, big guys, little guys, everybody in between. And when you watch these different people, you see different play styles, you see different personalities. And I think that I have my own unique personality and play style that to me makes the game fun. And I hope that I can find a few more people to enjoy watching me play as much as I enjoy playing the game. I overextend, I YOLO, I do stupid shit, but sometimes it works out and it's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah. And it ends up on a video in 6 months.
Damn right.
Question number 4. Now, what has been your biggest setback? You can life, game, whatever. And how have you overcome said setback?
Well, in life, it was probably going to prison or the loss of my parents. Both of those were pretty bad. And how I've overcome it is, you got to wake up every day, guys. You got to wake up every day. And this is the cards that were dealt to me. And you've got to face your music. You got to take it like a man. And you got to just keep waking up every day and understand that usually everything has a tendency to work itself out. And if you just keep waking up every day and you don't let yourself fall too far from the limelight, as far as get into a little funk and sit there and cry to yourself in the corner in a fetal position, just wake up, make every day the best you can do. You'll get over it. Time heals all. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Life lessons with Mo.
That's right.
He's absolutely right, man. He's absolutely right. Next question is from a WoW's player to now being a streamer. What have you learned in your journey about the community, World of Warships, or the streaming community overall, and what has changed in that?
What has changed in the
Let's let,
community
let,
since?
me, let me rephrase this. What have you learned in your
Okay.
journey about our community, World of Warships, and Twitch, since you've been around Twitch for a couple of years now, especially with my channel?
Right.
And what has changed in the gaming community and in the streaming community?
Hmm. It's kind of like as far as the changes, like, hmm. I'm kind of lost on this one to be honest, but you know,
Well, start with the
from
first. What do you what have you learned about being just a player in the community and being a streamer in the community?
well, like what I've learned as a player is from watching streamers, if that's what you're kind of asking. I don't
No,
know.
just you in general.
No.
What have you learned? What have you learned about the streaming community or the gaming community, or both?
Well, I mean, I've learned at least in this community that a lot of the streamers are very supportive of each other, and it's a really nice community to be a part of. I've gotten raids from me, Jash. I've gotten raided from other guys I've raided. You've raided me. I've everybody kind of seems to keep it in the family, so to speak. It's and that's there's people in the community that I viewed in a particular way, and then they've showed me support on my channel and my journey being a streamer that really kind of like, oh wow, this is a nice community, really. We all give each other a hard time. We all dig on each other. We all, everybody sucks but me, right? But it's a good community. There, people look out for each other and try to support you, and that's really nice. And I've learned that. I knew it. I knew about it from some people, but there's other people that have come in and said hi. Just random people. Like I just was watching some random warship streamer the other night, and was saying hey to him. And next thing I know, he's raiding me and he's hanging out in my chat and stuff. And it's like, man, that's cool. It's cool to feel supported.
There you go. And what do you think has changed in the gaming community from our game? We'll just focus in on our game. What do you think has changed in our community since you started playing the game?
The salt towards CVs. Because we used to always talk about one thing, and now everybody wants to talk about how much CVs suck and how horrible they are and how broken they are. And the one thing I always say about that is, everybody's got a complaint about it. Everybody's right. Everybody can be wrong, right, whatever. We're still playing the game. We still love this game and we want it to succeed. So, kind of get over it a little bit. I mean, sometimes it is really frustrating to play against CVs. I have rage quit because of CVs, but I still wake up the next day and I want to play my warships. So
There you go.
we can't change it. We can scream and cry about it. They're obviously not going to do a whole lot about it. So let's just keep on playing. And again, it'll all work out in the end, I'm sure.
All right. The next one is question number 6 is what would you say makes you stand out? Meaning, what makes you different from any other streamer, and why the fuck should we pay attention to you, Mo?
I mean, besides my beautiful long white hair.
There you go, Willie Nelson.
I don't know. I think I'm an interesting personality. I think I'm funny. I laugh at my own jokes like crazy. I laugh at my own videos. I laugh at my own moments on stream. I think if you watch me on stream, you're going to get a little mix of everything from philosophy to coronavirus updates from gods to, church chat with Tam. I mean, there's all kinds of different things you're going to experience if you watch me. And I think what makes me different is I have been through it, seen it, done it, or heard about it. And I've lived on the East Coast, the West Coast, South, North. I've lived everywhere across this country. I know people, and I can hit people on their level no matter who you are, and I'm happy to give it a try.
There you go. And that's that one. And number 7, who influences you as a person to go to that next level? Now that next level could be life, gaming, streaming, whatever. And that could be a person, an artist, a book, a movie, something that it just inspires you to just put out, other than
Well, the one
alcohol.
person that inspires me to put out is probably Ariana Grande. I have been inspired by her since she turned 18 to really want to put out in a major way. And if Ariana ever hears this, I will put out for you. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not going to, go on a big soapbox about who really influences me as a person, but I
Yeah, good on that
influence my,
soapbox, man. This is your platform.
well, I influence myself as a person,
Okay,
and not to sound selfish,
go for it.
but with the way my life has gone and the ups and downs that I've had, and right now I'm on and up, which is a great feeling again. Um, I inspire myself because I know what I've been through and I know what I've overcome. It makes me stronger and know that I can overcome whatever else life wants to throw at me. I inspire myself.
Awesome. There you go. And now number 8, do you have any tips for streaming to an aspiring streamer or ships player?
Be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't watch another streamer or a famous streamer or personality and try to do everything just like they do. Don't try to be them. Be you. And you being yourself will either draw people or not, but either way, you can wake up the next morning and go, "Hey, I'm just being me. Take me as I am. Love me or hate me. I'm still going to be me." Take that pride in yourself.
There you go. And the last question, question number 9, and what is your biggest tip in the world of warships to a new player?
If you are in a game with a man named Sir Understore Gods, never call Canadian bacon ham. My biggest tip would be probably just always have an exit. That would probably be my biggest, no matter when you're pushing, when you're making a move on a flank, no matter what class of ship you're in, even in a CV, you've got to think about if shit turns brown and draws flies, how am I going to get myself out of here? So that would probably be my biggest tip to anybody playing Warship.
It's a good one, man. Always having an exit strategy, man. And I know, especially in some of the lower tiers and some of the mid tiers that are when you're going up against the higher tiers. It's always nice. I mean, you're in Massachusetts going into a tier 10 game, and you're going down, around an island or something like that. You always have to have a goal, or if you're pushing before you hit that island, okay, here's my exit. Here's to dump off behind this island and just reset and start over. So yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. That's a very, very strong fucking tip. I really like that.
You.
I really like that tip. My biggest tip, of course, is pay attention to the fucking mini map. Learn how to read that shit. That's my biggest tip.
Or make sure if before you go on a podcast that your podcast partner gives you these questions with a little bit of advance, so you don't have to do it all off the cuff.
Well, it's in there. I mean, you could go look at the timestamp on when I sent them. It was a couple
I
hours.
know, I'm just fucking with you, man.
Yeah, I fucked up on that one. That one's on me, boys. I was not prepared.
It's all good.
I was
No,
prepared. I kept waiting for more and more information to come out. I kept waiting for something to come out, and nothing would come out. So I was like, okay, well, let's scrounge around to find some topics here that me and Mo could expand on and just have a good time with. And I think we've done a pretty good job.
Hell yeah, I liked it. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time.
Hell yeah. All right. Is there any other topic that you would like to tackle? Something that is weighing on your mind at all, or something that is something that you think that everybody else out there should know?
Anyone?
You.
Bueller?
I'm talking to you.
What? I thought you were talking to the chat.
No, I'm
What'd
talking
you say
to you.
again?
No, I'm talking to you. I said, is there any other topic in the world of warships that you don't think gets enough talking about?
How awesome the Krispy Kreme is.
Okay, let's talk about it. Go for it.
It's got, when you spec it properly, it's got 16.8 kilometer range. And when it's not bottom tiered, it outranges several of the battleships and other ships that you're playing against. And it's got guns everywhere. And they go up in a beautiful rainbow and fall down like little flaming butterflies and light shit on fire. it's one of the best ships in the game.
It's originally when that boat first came out, I was not a big fan of it, but I was like, Mo was sitting here touting on this fucking boat for months. For months, I could not get him to shut up about this goddamn boat, and I was like, fine, I'll go fucking play it. He's right. The boat is pretty fucking disgusting. And if you guys haven't played the Krispy Kreme, or y'all don't have the Krispy Kreme, it's a fantastic boat, and I highly recommend people at least going out there and giving it a shot.
Just spec it with AFT, and you'll get longer range than almost everything at tier. And it has lofty shells like the US, so you can, if you want to island hump, you can just go island hump. I like to just hold down my left mouse button and run circles in open water and laugh, because you set the world on fire.
That's so funny you say that, because that's what I did when I first got to the Bogator.
Yeah.
I would run into the middle, and this is way early in my gaming career here for World of Warships. I would do that. I would go into the middle of we'd play Solomon Islands, and I would go into that B cap right in the middle, and I would just hit left and just hold the button down. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing great shit, man. People used to get mad at me. I'd play with Poulter, and I would play with Ozimo, and they'd be like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm hitting left. They're like, holy crap, do you not know how to play? No, I don't. But yeah, Krispy Kreme's a pretty good fucking boat, man. I don't have a problem with that.
It's a hell of a good boat.
It gets a lot of flack, though.
It does. Everybody thinks it's garbage because when it first came out, everybody that reviewed it said it was trash.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it really isn't. And that's that's one of my little things is I seem to perform really well in boats that everybody else says are garbage. And I don't perform well in boats that everybody says are great.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No, me too. I perform really well in the Nelson. I've always had good games in the Nelson. And people hate that boat because it's not tanky. It's a glass cannon. It is a glass cannon. And the best part about it is I ranked out in that motherfucker. That's right. I ranked out in that motherfucker in the last Tier 7 rank season. Why? Because you can overmatch that fucking Synops bow. And the Synops were sitting there. I was like, okay, motherfucker, bam. And I would hit him for 20,000 in Citadel. Straight up bow on. And oh, man, those guys were like, how are you doing that? Of course, they would also overmatch me and overmatch just pretty much anywhere on me, and they would shit on me, but I would get them first because they weren't expecting it.
Right,
So yeah, and so I think it's another one. Colorado's another one that I do really well in. It everybody hates because it's so fucking slow. And the only reason
it just hits like a freight train. It's so good,
and it overmatches that Synop, which is arguably the best battleship at the tier, according to the majority of the ding dongs out there. They think the Synop, and everybody's a ding dong to me. But either way, that they think that the Synop is the best battleship at the tier, and I'm like, it's really not, because I look for the Synops. I'm like, oh, okay, motherfucker, let's see what you got going on. I hope you're gonna bow up to me. Bam, here's 20K, punch them right in the nose. It's amazing stuff, man.
It really is. I love the Lolorado.
Any other boats out there that you play really well that people think are terrible?
Well, I mean, Marblehead, Makarov.
Marblehead. There's no help in the Marblehead. Makarov.
Marblehead's. I just Marblehead's awesome, just awesome. It's got guns everywhere.
Bad.
You can go bow straight onto a ship and still get all 6 guns on him. Oh, or all 6 of the bow guns. Oh, it's so good. It's so funny. It's so trolly. Yeah, it'll explode if a shell gets too close to it, but God, is it fun to play? And that I love it. I remember one game my rudder got taken out, and I'm sitting there doing a death spin in the middle of the map, and they just couldn't hit me, and I'm just pew 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 all over the damn place. And moments like that just make me love a boat, And like with the Makarov, which is just that Russian Nuremberg, it plays just like the Rune, and the Rune is probably one of my all-time favorite cruisers. I love to just push forward with the DDs. As soon as your detection gets close to where you're about to get spotted, you turn around, slow down, and you just kite away with those 2 ass guns and just drive them crazy. Wiggle your ass, drive them crazy. I love it.
Pensacola comes to mind. People shit all over the Pensacola, and those AP guns are so good. and to just absolutely monster people down. I'm trying to think of some more. Uh, some more of them that people think are terrible, but I adore them. I think that
Yeah,
what's
I
some
know.
other
Now
ones,
it's like
man?
one of those
Now
things where
I'm
like you're
thinking.
having a brain fart. You're having a
Yeah,
brain
now I'm
fart
thinking
like
about it.
me.
Molotov, I love the Molotov. I mean, a lot of
Yeah,
people think the
Molotov's really
Molotov
good.
is really good though, so it doesn't really fall into that category. It's very squishy though. Um,
Yeah, I know. Now I'm freaking brain farted too.
now I'm trying to rack my
The
brain.
Ibuki, the Ibuki.
The
People
Ibuki.
hate the Ibuki.
Speaking of the
Ibuki is
Ibuki,
strong as hell.
last week the Ibuki was our ship of the week, and the winner of that ship of the week was the only person to put in for it, Prometheus, 82,000 damage, and he had a total experience score of like 1,200. So you guys missed out on getting the Ibuki. So we will release the new information here when Mo picks a boat that he wants to do ship of the week here in a minute. So anyway, so there you go. Don't basically what Mo was saying was don't sleep on any of the boats. Don't just blindly follow and suck on the ding dongs of these people, of these bigger streamers, or some of these streamers that say this boat is really really good or this boat is really really bad. If they say, oh, this boat sucks, and then you ask them why that boat sucks, and they don't have a reason for you why it sucks, then they don't know what they're talking about. I don't care how good they are, how popular they are on a streamer. Why is this boat bad?
Right. Well, even with the Nustra Shimmy that we're both joking about with the whole steel loss where we got
so many
steel,
people, many people have said that this boat is shit. And I play it. I'm like, hey, yo, this boat's not bad.
It's good.
It's
got such great detection.
Yeah, it's at 6.9, right?
Yeah, because you didn't have the freaking concealment.
I didn't have the fucking concealment on my captain. Oh man, that thing gets down to what, 5 and change or something like that.
5.6.
5.6 kilometer detection on a Russian destroyer that's basically an Ognivoy at tier 9.
Yeah.
And it has an AA button. It does pretty well. Those guns hit like a truck when you do get them to hit. It's got some kind of shitty torps at 10 kilometers, but that's okay. That you can make it work.
Yeah, there's all kinds of freaking. That's what I should pick the new Shishimi and make everybody buy it with steel. That's the ship of the week, bitches. Nustra Shimmy.
All right, let's talk about the ship of the week. Guys, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, the ship of the week, every week I ask my guests to pick a ship that they like or they think that needs to get, or a ship that they don't like for that matter, or a ship that they think that needs to get a little bit more play. And then what you guys do is y'all go play it out for that week, and then y'all post a screenshot right there in my Discord, discord.gg/servantofmik. And at the end of the week, or it will be next week with my man Chaos Machine. It'll be next week in the afternoon. I will stop. We will end it, and I will give away a container code and a camo code to whoever has the highest experience / damage totals. So you guys go out there, play whatever boat Mo wants to talk about, and it is what.
Let's see. What do I want to? I don't want to troll everybody and force you to play something. Let's go with something in the tech tree. Bajoni.
Bajoni is the tier 6
great boat,
Russian cruiser.
Fast reload, great boat. Not everybody's got the Eastern. I want more people to have a chance to enter the little contest here, man. So I'm going to pick Tech Tree. Fitz.
All right.
Bajoni.
Eastern Dragon.
That's my shit.
Like 2 people have that boat.
That's me and him.
There you go, boys. All right, guys. So if y'all want to get in on this and y'all want to get a free container code from me, and that is a community contributor container code, which you can, I believe it's I think it's the, I don't know. There's a premium ship option. I'm not remember what the premium ship option is for this patch because it changes every patch. They done Mutsus. I got some Mutsus out of there. I think there was I think the Acasta was in one point. But anyway, you can get a whole bunch of free XP, like 150,000 free XP, 150,000 coal. There's a lot of flags, a lot of camos that you can get out of there, and you'll also get at least 10 subscriber camos just for just for winning this thing. So so there's the reward. So it is the but Joni, tier 6 Russian cruiser, really, really good cruiser. I think it's really strong, probably one of the strongest cruisers at tier 6. Super long range, super good fire chance for everybody but me.
Fast reloading, fast speed.
Very fast.
It's really good boat that doesn't get enough love.
There you go. I actually enjoy that. I actually enjoy that boat. With the Russian cruisers, my love for the Russian cruiser stops at the Chappie. I love the Chappie. I love the tier 7, the tier 5, 6, and 7. They're all fucking great. But when I hit 9 and 10, I just don't like them anymore. Number one,
because they're completely different than every other boat in the line, which is one of the stupidest things that they do. Because everything from the Chappie on down plays essentially the same. I mean, I'm not talking about the Bogator and all that, but
right.
you know,
We'll talk about
once you get to like tier 5, Kirov,
yeah.
from the Kirov to the Chappie, those boats are just better versions of themselves, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And then you get to the Donskoy, which is kind of like the redheaded bastard stepchild of the line, which doesn't play like the Moskva, and it doesn't play like anything else in the line. And that's why it gets a lot of hate, because you get so used to a play style in a line, and now this one doesn't do anything the other ones did. And then you get to the Moskva, and it's just this big wannabe tank thing that you sit bow into on the edge of an island and just shit on people all game. It's
boring.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of those. Everybody knows that, but yeah,
well, Tommy ruined the Moskva for me.
Who did? Kami. I was wondering if you were going to bring that up or if I was going to have to.
It was going to have to come out eventually.
I thought it was I thought it was an interesting thing, and I've always told people when they come into the channel, hey, what I'm a new player, what should I start out playing? I generally push people into one of two classes when it comes to cruisers, or one of two lines when it comes to cruisers, and that is the German cruiser line and the Japanese cruiser line, because the play style of these two lines are exactly the same all the way up. You get to rank 5. Absolutely. And you play the Furutako or Furitako, however you guys want to say it, at tier 5 as the same way you play at tier 10 in the Zao. Definitely with different characteristics. One of them's, it's fucking tier 10, and this is fucking Zao. This one's a Furitako. And the same thing with the tier 5 German all the way up to the Hindenburg. It's all pretty much the same play style. 2 caveats are tier 6 and in tier 9, where you have to kind of play backwards, where you have to kite away a little bit more. But overall, the same characteristics, same play style all the way up. The ones that I tend to stay away from and tell people that they don't need to be playing these early on as new players is the Russian line, because once you get to tier 8, tier 9, it's a completely different game. It's completely different play styles, and it's a very frustrating play style. Well, for me and for new players to learn, I find it a little bit more frustrating than good. Obviously a good player is going to be able to adapt in it, and that's good. But woo! So there you go.
Absolutely.
That's my fucking 2 goddamn cents worth of it. Anyway,
I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, as far as DD consistency, you could say that the US DDs, besides the range of the torpedoes, they all play the same.
Well, that is my go-to for new players as well. If you want to play a DD, I recommend you playing American, and for one reason and one reason only, because I want you to get used to using your guns. So many times, Mo, and you've seen it, I've seen it, we've probably done it at one point in time. I could have shot this guy, but I had to get my fucking peats off, or I didn't shoot at all, waiting for my torpedoes to reload. The guy's got 1,000 hit points. You could have shot him twice, and he dies, and yet you're full health, and he just guns you down. I've seen this happen. I can honestly say I've never done that. I don't think Mo's done that either, but I have seen this quite a bit. Everybody's seen this before in the lower tiers. Just shoot your fucking guns. So with their torpedoes being
cruisers, cruisers do the same thing.
You see them at the Aoba in the Miyoko.
Well, how many times do you see a cruiser that could evaporate a DD at like 1,500 health, and he just wants to sail by him and torp him? It's like, dude, just shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to get a torpid. Just fucking shoot him. He's right there. Come on, kill me now. Do it.
So anyway, so you got really short torps until you hit tier 7, and you have to get all the way to the end of tier 7, the Mayhem, before you get those 9.2 torps, and then you can start flexibility in your playstyle, and then you get a little bit more utilitarian when you get to 8, 9, and 10. They're very utility boats, but I want people to use their damn guns, so that's why I push them into the American battleships first, or American cruisers, whatever the fuck it is, destroyers, whatever the fuck we're talking about.
American
Because
destroyer.
So either way,
America.
there you go, America. So that's my suggestions. All right, guys. So ship of the week is the Bajoni, and you guys go play that. Put it into the Discord. Put in your screenshots in the Discord, and there you go, guys. We're gonna go ahead and move off into the Q&A session here with my man moelykit. You guys can find him over on his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/moelykit, and at moelykit over on the Twitter. And then you guys can hit him up on his YouTube, youtube.com/moelykit, spelled exactly the same. You guys, I am Sir Venom IK right here. It's at Sir_Venom_IK. If you guys are over on Twitch, which you guys are here on Twitch while we're watching it live, but if you guys are over on YouTube watching this later on, if you guys ever want to come over and have a live conversation with me, twitch.tv/Sir Venom IK whenever I'm alive, man. Mm-hmm. So there you go. All right, let's jump up into the Q&A session, man. You ready for this?
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we got a little bit of time left, so if you guys have any more questions or comments or concerns about anything else that we talked about, go ahead and get them in now, because we do have quite a bit of comments here, and that's always fun. And then we'll attach those to a little bit later on. So, all right, here we go. Shadow Figment says, I am at rank 11, and I have seen Montanas and Republics down here. I'm at rank 8, and I saw a very few of either.
I've got a 100% win rate in ranked, and I've seen 7 ships, and we can move on now.
Caliboy says, Sir Venom, do you know if they will if they intend to still release the California? As far as I know, the California is still on the table. Now, as for when it's coming out and if it's going to change at all from the last time we saw it, I have no idea. They have had no information, no commentary about the California in the last 3 months. So I have no idea, man. But I wouldn't. But I can guarantee you it will come out eventually, because they put the effort out there. They got to get their money worth out of it. So,
right.
Will it come out as a premium ship? We don't know. Will it come out as a tier 7 in a battleship line split? We don't know. I would like to see another American battleship line split, or another American battleship line. But is it going to be a premium, or is it going to be in that? We don't know. We have no idea. All right. Rob 42 says, nobody shoots AP in the Lion anyway. You're talking about the armor changes affecting 13.5-inch guns, which the Lions have, and you're not going to be able to pin some of these other.
Well, I believe he's talking about the tier 9 British, not the tier 7 French, like we were.
I said Lion. I said Lion. I always say Lion, but we were talking about tier 7 when he popped that up there.
Right, but the Lion is the biggest piece of crap in the world.
You don't like it? You don't like tier 9 one?
I hate the Lion at tier 9. Like, I really hate it. Like, I would give up Little Debbie cakes for 3 days and to never have to play it again.
Really? I find that interesting, because I have when
I
I
find it
first
interesting too, because I like Little Debbie cake.
When I first started playing that line, I hated the Monarch. I think the Monarch is the biggest piece of shit that I've ever seen. But when I got to the Lion, I was actually able to fucking put some damage down range with its AP and get in those broadside shots. I find that surprising. Rob 42 also says, sweet, my Texas will now blap cruisers even more. All right, we're talking about armor changes again. The Texas guns are still going to be fine. Won't this increased armor reduce overpins? Now, technically, if you increase the armor, that's more armor for the battleship shell to go into and have a chance to detonate. Now, we're talking 2 millimeters on a lot of these things. You got 25s going to 27s, and you got 27s going up to 30s. So that's 3 millimeters there. Is that going to be enough fucking armor for it to pin? Not from 10 kilometers on a like an Izmo that shoots at like 950 meters per second. I don't think it's going to be enough. So I don't think so. I mean, that's I would like to see that, but in reality, is it going to happen? I don't know.
Don't know either.
I'm
not a numbers guy. I'm a play it and see how it acts in the game, and then I'll form an opinion.
We're a feels guy.
I just the spreadsheet jokes and stuff, where you get people who say, like we were talking, like, don't let anybody tell you how to build a boat. Don't let anybody tell you how to play it. Don't let anybody tell you this is good or this is bad. Get in the game, get the boat, play it for 10 games, and form an opinion.
There you go.
See how it goes.
Shadow Figment says, when it comes to World of Warships, I feel the game caters to new players. The people who stuck around to see the changes for good and the bad are the ones who suffer. They can remember when the game was before a certain benchmarks. Wargaming is a business. Look at each player as potential dollar sign. They want new money. Old players and the money they have spent be damned. It's pretty fair.
Yeah. I mean, I just... I don't know how the only thing I disagree with that is they're making it for the new players because, again, CVs. Every new player who still has no idea what they're doing. I remember when I had no idea what I was doing, but I thought I did. As soon as they hit tier 3, 4, 5, the game's kind of no fun anymore until you get up into 6, 7, 8, where you can actually start offsetting the damage by just being able to absorb a little of it and have enough AA to kind of do something after they've struck you twice. So, yeah, I don't think the game's very good to new players at all, to be honest. I really don't. I know.
The lower tier before tier 5 right now is in a mess. And it's the triple CV games. It's all the carrier's fault. And actually, you guys can throw up the fucking fem emote CV's fault because that's basically what it is. It's the CV's fault.
It really is
at this point. A Gort says that they cater to children who haven't spent a dime on anything. They're making the game a no talent game. I think that skill is a little bit involved here, just a little bit, and it's not very much. I'd say about 30% skill, and 70% is the rest of its RNG. How do you see those numbers?
Well, are we talking about you? Because
no,
RNG and
just in general.
Don't. I mean, it.
All right.
I would say.
Let me rephrase this.
Okay.
How much of the games that you play do you think you suffer from RNG as opposed to your skill level just countering RNG?
Oh, I think I suffer every single game I play from RNG because, I've played enough games. I've played all the classes. And there are so many times in this game where I see a perfect broadside, I put a perfect shot down range, and I get 2 overpens for 1,200 damage, or a pen for no damage, or whatever. And I'm going, RNG sucks. Yep. RNG is bullshit.
RNG sucks. Spam RNG sucks, chat.
There you go.
All right. I really like the interaction between cruisers and battleships. You should get deleted if you expose yourself. I generally agree with that. You should get deleted if you expose yourself. Just same thing with destroyers. I still think that if a destroyer is under 10 kilometers and gets spotted, he should be punished because he can just run up on you. And we're seeing that a lot with the cleavers. They can just run up on you, withstand whatever damage that you want to put in there, and then kill you with 6 torpedoes.
Yep.
So, I mean, and you have 0 recourse. And the only thing that destroyer players will tell you, well, you shouldn't have fucking been there. Well, okay, so now you want me to stay further away. That same guy in my next game, why are you so far away? Because I got torpedoed by you last game. Don't you remember, motherfucker? Well, you shouldn't have been there. I'm like, well, motherfucker, what do you want me to do? You're right now, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't if you're a battleship. If you push in, you get set on fire, you get torpedoed by an run around the fucking island from a battleship, or you're too far away and you can't be really effective against anything.
Right.
So right now is a very hard time to be a battleship main or player. Period.
It really is.
And Mo knows I don't strictly play battleships. I have my days where I want to play battleships. I have my days where I play a lot of DDs, and I have very few days where I want to play a lot of cruisers. I play a little bit of everything, but if I had to choose, if I was forced to choose, I would say a DD player, that's what I generally play in ranked season. So.
Absolutely.
Shadow Figment agrees with me here. He says, just like a DD who gets too damn close should be blapped into hell. I asked him that.
Should.
I asked him, I said, why are you guys changing the DD armor pen mechanics? But now SAP's here and SAP's here. Well, it's a cruiser. I was like, fair enough. It's a cruiser. Why and whatever. But what about these destroyers, man? What about these destroyers versus the rocket planes? What's the difference between a battleship doing this much damage to a DD versus a carrier and its rocket planes doing that much damage to a DD?
Because that's what they do. It's just like the old, before they AP nerfed battleships versus DDs. Well, how many times have you been in a DD and a rocket plane came over and ripped you for half your health?
Yep. And the response that I got was, well, we didn't really feel it necessary for the natural counter to do that much damage to its superior or whatever. It's something along those lines. So basically what they're saying, we didn't feel that it was right for a battleship to do that much damage to its natural counter in our world. Okay, fine. Well, what about carriers? Now with this armor change, what about battleships? Battleships versus cruisers. Why are you taking away this amount of damage versus its natural fucking counter? Doesn't make sense. I think that their priorities are kind of fucked up, and they have an idea of where they want the game to go, but they're going about it all fucked up.
I agree. I feel like they have multiple holes in the dike, so to speak. You know what I mean?
They're
putting a finger in this one, and another one springs up, and they put their finger over there and forget about that other one, and they're putting their finger. It's still a flood.
They're popping holes, man. They're busting holes.
It's going bad.
Yep.
But we're still going to play it.
El Draco Twitch says rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock equals CV, battleship, cruisers, DDs, and subs. Subs will fix all by bringing a balance back to the force/game.
If they got cruise missiles that launch against CVs only.
Yeah, right. What I think is kind of funny about this, and I said this as a rant, but I'm really starting to believe it. The only reason subs are getting in here because two guys out there who bitched and moaned, we want fucking submarines, man, we need submarines. These are the same two guys that will get into a submarine, get their shit pushed in and says, oh, this sucks, and then never fucking play them again. So Mo, you and Venom me, we will both be stuck with this bullshit ass mechanic because of two guys who will play them once, get their shit kicked in, and then never fucking play it again. Same thing with carriers. The guys that really, the CB rework is going to be great for CVs. Woohoo! Do you ever see them motherfuckers playing CVs anymore? Hell no, you don't. Why? Because they know it's not as good as it should be. I personally think that the CV rework is a failure. It puts too much power into one class's hands. Being over here, and don't give me that fucking realism bullshit, because if you really want realism, my AP shell should go over through and break that fucking DD in half and cause flooding. Don't give me the realism comment, because that's stupid.
Yeah.
West64 says, I'm just sick to death of burning to death in every day and being shot at by now you see them and now you don't. Ships. I'm just sick to death of burning. I'm sick to death of burning to death.
That's like almost like that, that glitch that they said they fix. And I had a problem with a Chappie the other night when I was in a battleship where it's like, he's shooting. I see him on the mini map. He's invisible on the map. He pops up and disappears instantaneously.
Yeah.
Like, in some of that stuff, like I thought that they said something about they were going to fix that to where when you fired and you were, spotted or whatever, like you were going to be visible for X amount of time, no matter what. And they still have these ships blinking in and out, like they're freaking phasing in and out of the world. And it's frustrating when you've got a little fire spammer just shitting on you and you can't get away from them.
Something I thought was interesting. they the detection bug is still in there too. It's not as prevalent, and it's not as impactful as it was back in the day. And the detection buff, I meant if you had something that was spotted at 5.5 kilometers, as it, 5 point, yeah, Shimakaze is 5.5, right?
Yeah.
So if you have
Oh,
something that's spotted at 5.5 kilometers, and you're playing a gearing with 5.6 kilometers, so you got your legendary gearing on, and I'm not seeing this guy still until he hits 5.3, 5.2 kilometers. I'm not seeing him, and so I'm not able to shoot at him at 5.5. He doesn't instantly spot anymore like he should have been. Now that was got real bad. You remember when that got real bad for a while. It's not as
hmm
bad as it was anymore, but it's still a point 0.2 kilometer difference in what it says to when it actually fucking renders anymore,
right.
which has
And
caused me
it's
to take shots from people that I can't see.
well, there's lots of there's all these little things, and it's like the one thing I kind of wish, like if I had a one wish that I could be granted by wargaming is I appreciate the content. I appreciate the new ships. I appreciate the things they're trying to do to make this game more playable and more exciting and more fun. But why don't you just take 6 months and work on all these little itty bitty little glitches that are nagging and annoying and like UI, the stealth glitch and this glitch. And I mean, there's so many just little things that just need to be fixed. Like just take some time, put some of your best people on it, and get that kind of crap. I have the glitch that's been happening to me since a couple patches ago is like I'll play a ship, right? And then I select another ship, but I can't put a captain on it because the captain from the previous ship is stuck on my screen and I can't get it off. And I have to shut down the game and reboot just to be able to put a captain on another ship. It only shows the captain from the previous ship I played.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Fix it. I
I,
can't be the only one.
no. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen that. I've seen it a lot as well. Or when you can't move captains around at some point. There's a lot of UI
Yeah,
issues that have been
just fix it.
popping up. Just been popping up with a little patch here and there. Draco says, "No way our Russian squillionaire is going to sell his baby." I'm telling you, man, I wouldn't put it past him to fucking dump it in about 2 years.
It's happened before. It's not obnoxious to think that way, but I don't know. I
Like I
think they
said,
might
man,
do
that,
that with
that
warplanes because warplanes is not is there's nobody on warplanes.
somebody came
I
in
don't know
there
if
saying they was playing it yesterday.
yeah, I
Somebody was
mean I
or
have an
somebody was
account.
talking to
I
me.
do play it. I do
I've never
play it.
played it.
It's actually kind of fun. But they fixed their population by throwing bots in. So you basically play with bots on your team and their team, and you might have 5 or 6 real people in a game, and the rest are all bots. It's almost like playing co-op. But it's a really fun game. I really enjoyed playing it. I've got a few premium planes and stuff like that, but it just hasn't taken off. They reworked the whole game. It's still it's just kind of plugging along like the little engine that is trying.
Right. All right. Let's go on to the next comment here, which is from Shadow Figment. Steel Division 2 is distributed by another company, but it is a wargaming.net game. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, I've never played Steel Division, and like
I haven't either.
other than this particular game, this is the only instance that I've ever had with wargaming. I've done some betas and shit for them but after the fact, I'd never heard of wargaming until one time I saw the World Championship World of Tanks team, and that was the last time that they did it. And then I was like, hey, this looks pretty cool. And then as I was going in, I was like, you know what? There's boats. Let's try to sign up for their closed beta. And didn't get into the closed beta, so whatever. Bastards. Draco to Twitch says, they have a 5-year plan to take over the world. Joe would be proud. Wife Aggro says, God damn it, Mo, you can make your bed a little bit better than that.
It's fine. It's fine. Come to my house and fucking make it then. Fuck off of my shit over my damn bed. You'd be happy I made it up that nice.
Cruddy says, "Oh yes, trying to get my brother through tier 4 right now. He is absolutely lost. Tier 4 is it? Tier 4, anything under tier 5 is worthless, man." Fitz says, "Don't you give Wargaming any ideas, you twat, about the about my conspiracy about AP rocket planes coming on the new carrier lines."
Yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. They're bitching about how much damage battleships are doing to fucking cruisers. Now just imagine 3 and 4 Citadels coming off, man. Jesus.
Bad enough with the AP dive bombers that can, shit on stuff. We don't need AP rockets.
Yep.
Not at all.
Draco the Twitch says tinfoil hats don't have enough ferrite to give accurate bearings, Mr. Faraday. All right. F-14s on the news. They actually in the original instance of the game, the Midway had jets. Midway had jets, but not only that, but you could get 2 CVs on one side and no CVs on the other. Oh my god, it was awful. It was awful to watch. Now I was not here when that happened. That was in the early alpha, early beta. But I do remember seeing video on that and how awful it was, and how Fusos would get into tier 10 games with Yamatos, and or hearing the stories about the wacky tacky going up into tier 10 and just absolutely dominating everybody.
I kind of miss the fail div stuff though. That's one of the changes I miss a lot. Is when you'd see you'd be in like a tier 8 game and some guy'd have like an Omaha in his freaking div. Shit was funny.
Yeah. Cali Boy says, what I like about the original CV gameplay is you had to preserve your planes because once you were out, you were gone. Now I get unlimited planes and it's insane. Yeah, unlimited planes is probably my biggest complaint about CVs. I was like, look, I'll accept this 10,000 damage pop if I'm actually killing things and it actually means something. Planes don't mean anything, and they've got it in their head with this. Oh well, if you lose enough planes in your squadron, blah blah blah. Well, your AA is not good enough to shoot down a whole lot of these things on your own, right? So you have to play close with everybody else, deathballing basically as a destroyer. Just to have a chance to not shoot down anything, and then they'll just fucking fly right into it, lose no planes, drop you for 10K, and then lose all their planes afterwards. And then at the end of the game, they still got full fucking squadrons. There is no downside right now to losing all of your all of the planes in your squadron. There is no downside because with given enough time, you're going to have all of those back. Now it might take a little bit longer, but you have unlimited planes. Period.
Right.
And when you approach Wargaming about this and you talk to them about this, they're like, well, if they lose it, then they're done. I was like, no, bullshit. If they lose it, then they need to be rendered ineligible to fucking continue to play. They need to be rendered. You are rendering me off of the fucking map. I am dead back into fucking port because this guy has unlimited fucking planes. That is a little bit overboard. No pun intended. That's a little bit overboard. And this guy there's no recourse. And I'm sorry, but that's just not fucking fair. You guys have dumbed it down to where I can't counter this motherfucker anymore because he was too stupid to figure it out in the original onset. So you guys dumbed it down to where now my CV on my team can't really counter the guy. Let's just go farm damage, man. Let's go farm damage willy-nilly. It doesn't matter. It's all bullshit.
Well, that's like when I have that one game I played in my Missouri where I got like 89 planes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's stupid. I should not be able to shoot down that. It's just stupid. 89 planes.
Yep. Gort says, I played my Minakaze today. Tola used to tort between the lines, and it worked flawlessly. But today I was shooting ahead and had to adjust. I think that they have to wait to adjust. They think needed. I'm not sure where all that was going, but hey, good on you for adjusting your game, I guess.
There you go.
There you go. Killer Cato says CB rework forces more conservative play. No more rushing to a cap with no AA cover or a good AA defense. You get wrecked in the first 90 seconds. I agree. I agree. You definitely have to slow down and you have to play a little bit smarter with fucking CVs in the game. But
You have to.
slowing down too much.
That's the problem. Is like I said, DDs need to go straight to the caps and start putting up a fight, and they can't in a double CV game or a single CV game unless they're just lucky enough to not be the first one spotted by the CV, and then they're going to be harassed until they're dead if the CV is smart enough to do that.
Right.
You do have the occasion where the CV will ignore DDs, and then life is good, but otherwise, not so much.
Not so much. Vash SG says, I think the game is too slow for an esports game. I think we talked about that. In the current state, they need to have really, really good fucking commentators, and they're just none of them. Not many of them. There's a few out there that are decent, but they're not enough to hold your interest for 20 minutes.
Have you ever caught like ESPN when they cover those like Irish frickin' dart competitions?
Yeah.
And that guy, that's who they need. Because if he could make darts the most exciting thing I've watched that day, he could make this game frickin' amazing.
He 12'd out, boys. He 12'd out. With a little bit of an accent.
Oh, the guy's just yelling and screaming. It's just like the most amazing
Is that
thing.
your record of planes? Is the 80 what? 89?
I'm not sure. I want to say I got 90 some in my Minotaur at some point, but that was just what brought to mind because I made a video of it. I want to say I was in my Missouri, and I think it was 2 tier 8 CVs, and they were basically just dropping me and only me, but I was AA spec. And, I was they were hitting me. They almost killed me, but I was able to get to them and kill both of them before they killed me. But they damn near killed me, but they just kept throwing squadron after squadron after squadron after squadron. And it's just like, they're all full squadrons. It's like why I'm not doing anything. And it's always the thing that busts my balls about the AA and everything else. AA is not completely ineffective. The problem is it's not effective against the planes that are threatening your ship. I think if they change defensive fire to focus only the 3 planes or 4 planes or whatever planes that are actually physically attacking your plane, your ship, it would feel better. Like if I hit my AA, my O face, my O button, and make my, the AA burst, whatever the fuck you call it, and hit defensive fire, I don't want to see the planes that are circling above me die. I want the planes that are coming at me to die. And none of those things happen. They always get one full drop on the way in, unless it's a lower tier CV and you just wipe the squadron out, which happens so rarely, except when I'm playing CV, it seems to happen all the time. However, let's just why can't we just focus the planes that are actively attacking me? So instead of eating 6 torpedoes from a midway, I only eat 4 or 3 because I've damaged that attack squadron, not the ones that are floating around up above.
My biggest problem with AA, and I said this last week on the podcast, and I'll say it again for you, Mo, is the fact that the problem with AA is that for you as a player to be effective at countering any of that guy's damage, the guy has 6 planes in his squadron. Only 2 of them are actually on that attack run. You have to shoot down 5 fucking planes before you hit his maximum damage potential. So they are constantly at maximum damage potential all the time. So even when you hit that AA button, you can still shoot down 4 fucking planes. But what is the recourse? You're still going to take that fucking damage. Me as a DD, right. I could play a kid. I could play one of these new pan-European DDs that have really good AA. I still have to shoot down 6 of those fucking planes before I can actually avoid some of this damage. Right. And it's to the point where it's kind of bullshit, if you ask me, and to where there's nothing that I can do. All right, so Stabber says, "Oh man, I ran out of tinfoil hat. All I have left is some aluminum." All right, Shadow Figment says, "I know they changed things on boats without telling us." Going back to the stealth nerf topic here.
Yeah,
I agree. I tend to think that they do as well. Artemis says, sounds like that's the issue with all of the other games. Too much RNG bases everything, and if it's Russian, it's OP in all 3 games as well. Well, I mean, I understand. I mean, I don't. Do I blame them? Yes. Do I understand why the Russian boats in this game are seemingly overpowered? And let's be honest, they pretty are. They relatively are. The Moskva, the Stalingrad, they're pretty fucking strong. The Kremlin's pretty fucking strong. The Grozovoy, when it first came out, was relatively strong. It's still fucking badass. The Kebab is still ridiculously strong. I literally broke shells on a Kebab yesterday from 3 kilometers with my HE. Broke shells on the side of a Kebab, and a Kleber. God damn it, that shouldn't happen. So right. each boat in there is very, very strong. And I although I don't agree with it, I kind of understand because it is a Russian company. They want their boats to be a little bit better or different or just shifted a little bit enough to where everything else filters down below it. What's the big deal about the fucking Russian boats? Well, they got this accuracy fucking buff. Well, why didn't everything else get it? Why don't you filter that accuracy buff down everywhere else? Well, we want a little bit of change. That's the flavor of that boat. The flavor's on the other boats, or blah blah blah. And so they feed into their own country. And if it was an American company, you goddamn right, the fucking Americans. I would like to think that we would be fair-minded and balanced. But yeah, damn, if it was a French company, the Germans would be shitty. If it was an Italian company, whatever. These pizzas all over the place and fake bacon.
Yes.
Shit like that. I mean, so I understand why the way it is, and I just find that those boats that are that strong, they're pretty fucking boring. Yeah. Moscow, Stalingrad, Kremlin, they just sit there.
I don't like I said, I don't play my Smolensk hardly at all. I mean, it's fun to play. Like, I have a blast when I play it, but it's just so strong. It's so easy. There's no challenge.
I have gotten to the point where if I play the Smolensk Mo, and maybe you can take this idea as well and just use it for yourself to play the Smolensk a little bit more. All I want to do when I play the Smolensk is make somebody's day worse. I want to shit on somebody's day. I want to make them have the worst day of their fucking life. That's all I want when I play the Smolensk. Maybe you can take that into the future there.
Yeah, I got you. I can do that.
Yep.
I can do that. In 6 months, I'll make a video about it.
I want to ruin their day is basically what I'm getting at. Artemis says, it sounds like the issue with all other games. Oh, I've already read that. I just finished that. Paladin says, I am convinced that somebody at Wargaming does not like you. They put an algorithm in across your ship and experience this. Bottom line, they cheat against you.
I agree 100%.
About my RNG.
Oh, God, it's so tragic.
It is pretty tragic, man. That game I played in the Smolensk last night, it was miserable. I mean, I ended up having a whole lot of damage, 120,000 damage at the end of that game, but I only had 5 fires. Imagine what it could have been if I had 10 fires or something,
Oh yeah,
it was awful. I mean, I tell you how many times literally 32 shots. And I'm not just firing in the same spot. I'm not that dumb. I know how to play it, right? You fire short, you fire mid, you fire long to try to get this guy on fire. Broadside, the same game, broadside fucking Montana from 10 kilometers. I'm sitting in my fucking smoke and I'm hitting him. I'm aiming high. My reticule is quite literally on the middle of his fucking conning tower. Right, or at least the line is on the middle of the conning tower as he's rolling left or right, and I start shooting and I'm hitting 6, 7, 8 shells into the superstructure. No fires. Hey, I got a fire. Guess what? He instant rep. Now there's another 20 seconds with no fires. I was like, fuck, like this game sucks for me, man. Poulter Mark II says, but I still kick the shit out of new players' asses though. You goddamn right, man. Let's go back and SEAL Club, motherfucker.
That's tier 5. That's when you pull out the Fujin or the Kamikaze and
fucking go play the
Julio.
Nikolai or something.
Yeah, Nikolai is just stupid.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Hey, guess what? It's Russian. Artemis says the lower tiers I can go from kicking ass, and the very next ship of the tier list I just get ate up with balance between that and stealth. That's why it took so long to play the game. I think the one line The one line that suffers more from stealth than any other line is the Tier 7 DDs. You go from Tier 6, which are relatively all pretty much balanced with each other. I think there's 5.8 at Hachiharu. I'm not sure if there's anything lower than 5.8 to like 6.1 on the T61, which is the best at that tier. I personally think that's probably the best at that tier. To something like the Sims at 6.6.
Right.
Or the Bliss, which is 6 something.
Oh, the
6,
Bliss
8.
needs a freaking detection buff so bad, but it's still so good. That's my baby.
Yeah, the Bliss is at 6.8, and some of the Russian boats and like Tier 7 destroyers are in such a bullshit place.
Right.
I think they're good. Don't get me wrong, but with the battleships, if you want to talk in a ranked situation, we're talking in ranked Mo, the battleships at Tier 7 are terrible compared to the cruisers at Tier 7. When you look at some of the cruisers, the cruisers at Tier 7 are some of the best tier for tier in the game. The Helena, the Miyoko is fucking phenomenal. The Shores is fucking god tier.
The Shores.
What else? Fucking Belfast is there. The Atlanta is there. The Flint is there. The Boise and the Wavies are there. I mean, there's so many. You can take any of them fucking boats at Tier 7 that are cruisers, and they are fucking badass. And they will shit on any of the other battleships at Tier 7. So when you have cruisers that overdo battleships at that tier, your destroyers are the one that suffer. And especially with that range of detection, going from, I think the height is what, 5'7"? Something like that. The height
5'7", yeah.
5'7" is the low to fucking 6'6", 6'8", 7 on the Minsk or something like that, whatever.
Yeah.
Those things that are all filtered into that one little section just have no fucking chance. Have no chance at all.
None whatsoever.
Artemis says World of Warships doesn't allow for many playstyles. But see, this is the key. That you're right in a way, and there's a caveat to this as well. You're right in the fact that yes, they are very limited because of meta. Because of the meta. If you're not playing in the meta, then you're probably struggling. The other caveat to that is Wargaming doesn't want to push you into playing how we want you to play. We want you to play however you want to play. But understand that if you do play this way, you're going to get punished by this.
Right.
Insert excuse there. There's the caveat. And that's it. And that was the last one. We'll just take one more here. Artemis also says it was already a lot of slow. Adding more sit back and waiting is not good for the game at all. So at this point, so many boring games, even at high tier, just sit, or YOLO and die. That's about all they want to do. I know there's boats out there that I'm not particularly fond of. The Massachusetts, I just YOLO in that every game. I don't care, and I end up having more often than not. Probably about 70% of the time, I have a pretty decent game. What do I consider decent? If you can do your hit points and damage, you've had a pretty decent game. So there you go. There you go. See, here you go. You know, every time I say that the battleships at Tier 7 are kind of shit compared to the cruisers, somebody always has a boat that they really, really like that they want to come out and pop it. What about the Scharnhorst battleship at Tier 7? Scharnhorst is good in general. But those guns versus those cruisers are terrible. If you're in a ranked situation, like I was talking about, if you're in a ranked situation, you as a battleship have a split second to decide to shoot on this guy. You have a split second to decide to shoot on this guy. And if you are going to take that split second, you want something that is going to knock this dude's dick in the dirt. You want to knock him off the board because that's your job. Because if you don't knock him off of the board with your AP, not HE, if you don't knock him off the board, how much longer is he going to survive and how much more damage is he going to do to the rest of your team? The battleships at Tier 7 are the most inconsistent, the most uniquely played. And you know what? I can just stop at fucking the most inconsistent. Slowest, smallest guns, 11 inches. Slowest being the Colorado. The most inconsistent being the Nagato for some people. For me, the Gneisenau is very, very, very inconsistent. And so the cruisers survive too long. And when they survive too long, it makes everybody's life miserable. Number one, you're going to be on fire all the time. Number two, they're going to shit all over your DDs, and you have no recourse because you can't put them down with the small guns. So there you go. Battleships at Tier
Yeah.
7, they suck. And you're starting to see that with Tier 10 as well. This is why Tier 10 rank season is not something that I have ever enjoyed for that same reason. Your
Well,
cruisers
like
are
talking about
so...
the Scharnhorst again,
Yeah.
even when you do get Citadels, the alpha on those guns isn't enough to
7,500
hardly
damage.
delete anything. You don't delete anything unless you just get that 1 in a million shot, which just is. I can count on both, one hand how many times I've gotten a straight up deletion dev strike in the Scharnhorst with the guns only.
Yep.
If I do something crazy in the Scharnhorst, it's with my guns, secondaries, and torps. It's with all the tools that it has, which makes it a fun and interesting boat. But like you said, in a ranked situation, when you get a cruiser that pops up and you've got to snap a shot and you need to damage him heavily or kill him, Scharnhorst ain't going to do it every time. It's going to do it 1 out of every 20 shots.
If that, if you get that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I know, guys. But my Scharnhorst, man, it's like my favorite fucking boat. I don't care. That's fine. You can have your boat and you can like your boat. But I'm telling you, in ranked situations, after playing ranked as much as I have, it's just not a good boat. And
I love the Scharnhorst. I wouldn't play it. I love it. One of my favorite ships to play. I love the Scharnhorst. I wouldn't play it in a ranked situation. And I've got 100% win rate in ranked this season.
Yeah, it's not a very good boat for ranked season. It's just not consistent enough. And I want consistent boats. When I look at a boat for ranked season, well, I'm looking for consistency. I'm looking for several other different things, and the Scharnhorst just isn't there. It's just not. It's just not good enough for me. Is it a good boat? Yes, it's a very good boat. Is it better than some of the other ones? I don't know. That's debatable, and that's a personal choice. A lot of people like to take that Tier 7 Lion, the French one there. I fucking hate that boat. I think it's a very one-dimensional play style. Mid-range, that's it. Mid-range, you cannot push in that boat. It does very well on broadsides of cruisers, but if you put any angle on that cruiser, you're just going to bounce fucking shells. You're just going to bounce with the AP. So you have to sling HE, and I will never proponent HE slinging in a battleship.
I can't stand it.
I hate it because there's no skill to it. There's absolutely no skill. I want people to use their skill and use their knowledge of the game to their advantage. If the game will fucking let them, according to my RNG.
Right.
So anyway, so there you go. That's our last comment, man. All right, guys, don't forget, man. Next week, my man Chaos Machine will join us here. This will be a Wednesday afternoon. Hold on, let me pull up my calendar. It'll be Wednesday, March the 11th at 2:30 p.m. U.S. Central Time. We will fire up the podcast. We will probably start about 2 o'clock and hook up with Chaos Machine there because he is in Greece. So I changed the times for him. Wednesday the 18th, so we have Oni the Wicked's going to join us on the podcast for his second trip. And then on the 25th, Pirate Kitty Gaming is going to come on and also have a face reveal. There'll be face reveal number 2. Mo!
Woo!
Right now is the time for you to tout on yourself. Tell them where they can find you. Tell them, my friend, what your schedule is, times and everything, so they can come see you.
I stream usually Monday through Saturday. I usually start around 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, give or take. And I keep streaming until I rage quit or decide that I'm tired. I got a YouTube channel. I put out videos. I try to put out a video every week, but with me starting streaming here recently, I've been slacking off on that, but I'm going to try to pick up the pace on that as well. My name as it's spelled is my name in game on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube. It's all the same. And if anybody's going to be at the Anchors Away event at the USS North Carolina in Wilmington at the end of this month, I will be there both Saturday and Sunday. Take a look for the giant guy with the long white hair. Let me shake your hand. Let me talk to you. Love to meet you.
There you go, boys. Go check him out. Go check out his channel, twitch.tv/moelykit, at moelykit over on the Twitter, and his YouTube channel, youtube.com/moelykit. Guys, I am Sir Venom IK. You guys can hit me up at Sir_Venom_IK over on the Twitter, or if you guys are over on YouTube watching this, twitch.tv/Sir Venom IK. I want to say thank you to Mo, man. It's been a fucking blast for the last 2 hours.
My pleasure.
Basically 3 hours here as we've now hit 9:50 in the evening. If you're down to play, man, I'm down to play after this for a couple of games or whatever, and before I jump into the ranked season, you're more than welcome to join me. I always invite my guests. Don't forget, ship of the week is the Badyoni Tier 6 Russian cruiser. You guys head up to Discord, discord.gg/SirVenomIK. Put your screenshots in there, and you guys can win a container code and a camo code from a community contributor. Yeah, that's me. Woohoo. So there it is. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show. I am Sir Venom. That is moelykit. Mo, tell them goodbye.
Later,
boys. We will see you guys next week with Chaos Machine, Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. U.S. Central Time. I love you, boys.